Chapter 659. One move. Not good. Yi Tian's expression changed as he watched Ning Yu closing in on him. He hastily retreated. Shua. However, Yi Tian's speed of retreat was clearly slower than Ning Yu's. Soon Yi Tian was caught up. Ning Yu, the soul would belongs to my master, Dan Chenzi. How dare you snatch it? Seeing that there was no way to escape, Yi Tian brought up his master, Dan Chenzi, in hopes that Ning Yu would back off. Whether it was cultivation or soul force, Dan Chenzi crushed Ning Yu in all aspects. Aside from Yi Tian, everyone else in the square thought that Ning Yu would give up on the soul wood. Since you've lost the bet, you must accept the loss. You've already lost the soul wood to me, so I'm just taking what belongs to me. Ning Yu did not take Yi Tian's words to heart. He instantly appeared in front of Yi Tian and reached out with his right hand to grab the soul wood. But just as Ning Yu's hand was about to touch the soul wood, a cold snort rang in his ear. Humph! You dare to snatch my soul wood? I think you're tired of living. Dan Chenzi snorted coldly. With a flick of his wrist, a huge palm print appeared and slammed towards Ning Yu's chest. Dan Chenzi's palm was powerful and contained violent yuan qi fluctuations. Even an ordinary early yin-yang stage cultivator would not dare to take it head-on. Old ancestor, demonic Jiu. Ning Yu is the fake holy son of Danwu College. Aren't you going to help him? The corner of Black Widow's mouth curled into a smile. Haha, Ning Yu is still not calm enough. Dan Chenzi is a peak yin-yang stage cultivator, so he can take down Ning Yu's prestige. Old ancestor demonic Jiu laughed. Moreover, Dan Chenzi won't dare to kill Ning Yu. At most, he'll just teach him a lesson. I feel that things aren't that simple. Black Widow frowned. Oh, old ancestor demonic Jiu raised an eyebrow. Do you think that Ning Yu can fight Dan Chenzi head-on? Don't think too much about it. If Ning Yu had advanced to the early yin-yang stage, I might have believed it, but he is only at the peak of the primal core stage. It is impossible. What? Ancestor, demonic Jiu, did not believe that Ning Yu could face Dan Chenzi head-on. But just as his gaze shifted to the sky above the square, his mouth opened slightly, revealing a shocked expression. Ning Yu and Dan Chenzi stood in the air, neither making a move. Below them, Yi Tian held his head in his hands, his face contorted in pain. Dan Chenzi, if you're willing to bet, you must be willing to accept your loss. I really wonder how you've lived for so long. Ning Yu shook the spirit wood in his hand and said, Also, the spirit wood is such an important thing, yet you gave it to Yi Tian. FSK, I have to say you're really naive. Dan Chenzi's chest heaved up and down, on the verge of exploding in anger. He did not care about making a fool of himself in front of so many people. He did not care about being ridiculed by Ning Yu. What he cared about was the spirit wood. Without the spirit wood, Yi Tian would not be able to win the top 3 in the alchemy competition, and he would not be able to enter Danwu College's Pill Cave. Dan Chenzi glanced at ancestor demonic Jiu on the high platform, took a deep breath, and said, Ning Yu, state your conditions. What do I need to do to return the spirit wood to me? In fact, Dan Chenzi had no other choice. Ancestor demonic Jiu's presence here had cut off all thoughts of using force to take back the spirit wood. If he tried to forcefully attack Ning Yu, ancestor demonic Jiu would definitely not sit idly by. Not to mention, Ning Yu's strength had exceeded his expectations. Just now he had used 50% of his strength, but Ning Yu had easily blocked it. If I want to kill Ning Yu here, I need to use at least 80% of my strength. Dan Chenzi said fiercely, I do have a condition, but you probably won't agree. Ning Yu pondered for a moment and said, State your condition. As long as I can do it, I will definitely satisfy you. Dan Chenzi said solemnly. Compared to entering the Pill Cave, Dan Chenzi could think of a way to agree to any condition. Very simple. Make Yi Tian withdraw from the alchemy competition and give me an additional 2 million transcendent grade essence crystals. Ning Yu shrugged and said the market price of the spirit should be around 3 to 4 million transcendent grade essence crystals. Me asking you for 2 million is already being extremely benevolent. Think about it. Crack, crack. Hearing Ning Yu's words, Dan Qinzi's hands clenched into fists, trying his best to restrain himself from exploding. He could take out 2 million transcendent grade essence crystals, but to make Yi Tian withdraw from the alchemy competition, he couldn't do it no matter what. Because if Yi Tian withdrew from the competition, he also wouldn't be able to enter the pill cave. Dan Qinzi, I'll give you a chance. Shua. Just as Dan Qinzi was about to attack regardless of the price, Ancestor Demonic Jew tore through the void and appeared beside him. What chance? Dan Qinzi asked. As long as you can take one move from Ningyu without collapsing, I can make the decision to return the spirit wood to you. Ancestor Demonic Jew said. Voila! When the crowd heard this, their hearts trembled, and they all looked at Ancestor Demonic Geo with doubt. If they didn't know that Ancestor Demonic Geo was a disciple of Danwu College, they would have thought that Ancestor Demonic Geo and Dan Qinzi were standing on the same side. Ning Yu is only a peak Yuan Dan, but Dan Qinzi is at the peak Yin Yang stage. The two are simply not on the same level. Forget one move. Even if Ning Yu used 8 or 10 moves, it would still be impossible for him to defeat Dan Qinzi. The fact that Ning Yu had blocked Dan Qinzi's move earlier had indeed shocked everyone. However, no one believed that he could defeat Dan Qinzi in a single move. None of them were optimistic about his chances. Is that true? Dan Qinzi's face lit up and he hurriedly asked. Yes. Ancestor Demonic Jew replied, and his figure flickered, returning to the high platform. This your mother? Seeing Ancestor Demonic Jew leave so irresponsibly, Ningyu cursed in his heart. Scam, what a scam! The spirit wood was won by me? Why are you making the decision for me? Ancestor Demonic Jew, why are you doing this? On the high platform, Black Widow asked in confusion. Black Widow couldn't understand why Ancestor Demonic Jew would want Ningyu to give up such a precious treasure like the spirit wood. Dan Qinzi is not a soft persimmon. The fact that he could become the pill king of the Grand Xia Kingdom is enough to prove his ability. Ancestor Demonic Jew sighed and slowly said, there are many hidden old monsters in the Grand Xia Kingdom, and all of them have asked Dan Qinzi for medicinal pills. If Dan Qinzi wants to kill Ningyu, there's no need for him to do it himself. He only needs to spread the word, and there will be many people who will help him deal with Ningyu. But if Danwu College spread the word, I believe that the hidden old monsters in the Grand Xia Kingdom will give Danwu College face. Black Widow frowned. Don't be too optimistic. Danwu College's upper echelons are not decided by me. They are divided into several factions. Ancestor Demonic Jew shook his head and then closed his eyes, no longer speaking. Shua. At the same time, Dan Qinzi floated in the air with his hands behind his back, a confident smile on his face. Chapter 660. The shocked crowd. Ningyu, I won't move. Let's see how you're going to defeat me. Ningyu's face turned solemn when he heard Dan Qinzi's words. Defeating Dan Qinzi, who was at the peak of the Yin-Yang realm, in one move was indeed very difficult. Why, you don't dare to make a move? Yi Tian had already recovered from the pain and said, Ningyu, if you know what's good for you, hand over the spirit wood as soon as possible. Otherwise, shut up. Dan Qinzi was already a little annoyed. When he heard Yi Tian's ungrateful words, he interrupted him and said coldly, This has nothing to do with you. Go back and prepare for the next round of the alchemy competition. Yi Tian was instantly speechless after being reprimanded by Dan Qinzi. Before leaving, Yi Tian glared at Ningyu fiercely, as if saying, Just you wait. Ningyu ignored Yi Tian. In other words, Ningyu did not take Yi Tian seriously at all. Ningyu frowned as he thought of a countermeasure. Swoosh! If I were Ningyu, I would definitely give up and return the spirit wood to Dan Chenzi. That's right. If I return the spirit wood to Dan Chenzi, I might become his friend. The fact that Ningyu did not make a move immediately caused the crowd to discuss. Friend. On the other side, Zhao Kuo could not help but smile when he heard the crowd's discussion. After offending Dan Chenzi, there will be no place for Ningyu in the Great Xia Kingdom from now on. Look, Ningyu is making a move. Suddenly, someone shouted, drawing the crowd's attention to Ningyu and Dan Chenzi. Swoosh! In midair, Ningyu immediately dashed out and punched Dan Chenzi's chest with a violent wave of yuan qi. Hiss! Sensing the monstrous yuan energy undulations contained in Ningyu's fist, the numerous martial practitioners in the square revealed shocked expressions. Strong, he was just too strong. The power of Ningyu's punch was enough to defeat a middle-stage yin-yang realm martial artist. Bang! In the next moment, under everyone's shocked gazes, Ningyu's fist struck Dan Chenzi's chest. A crisp sound resounded in the area. The result did not exceed everyone's expectations. Dan Chenzi still floated in midair, not moving an inch. He lost. Since you agreed to the bet, you must accept your loss. Return the soul, wood to me, said Dan Chenzi with a smile. You're willing to admit defeat? Do you think you're qualified to tell me that you're willing to concede defeat? Ningyu coldly snorted. Soon after, he changed the topic and said, Moreover, I did not lose. Reincarnation palm. Following Ningyu's cry in his heart, an extremely vigorous wave of yuan qi surged out of his sea of consciousness and entered his wrist. No one noticed that within this violent wave of yuan qi, there was a terrifying wisp of soul power and a terrifying wisp of azure spirit fire. Not good. The huge force from his chest caused Dan Chenzi's expression to change drastically. He hurriedly summoned all the yuan qi in his body and frantically gathered it on the surface of his chest, hoping to block Ningyu's palm print. Uft! However, it was clearly too late for Dan Chenzi to react at this moment. Ningyu's palm suddenly exerted force, and the huge force directly blasted Dan Chenzi several feet back. Dan Chenzi spat out a mouthful of blood, and his breathing became weak. At the same time, his body swayed in midair. Ningyu, I admit that I underestimated you. However, I did not fall, so the soul wood is still mine. Dan Chenzi's tone was cold as he said in a deep voice, Is that so? Hearing this, Ningyu raised an eyebrow, and a smile appeared on his face. Uft! Uft! As soon as Ningyu's voice fell, Dan Chenzi felt a dull pain in his chest, and then he spat out a few more mouthfuls of blood. Bang! After spitting out the blood, Dan Chenzi's originally swaying body finally could not hold on any longer, and he directly fell to the ground. Silence! Silence! A terrifying silence. After Dan Chenzi fell to the ground, the entire square instantly fell silent. Not even the slightest sound of breathing could be heard. Dan Chenzi was a peak yin-yang stage martial artist, so how could he be defeated by Ningyu in one move? Just what level had Ningyu's strength reached? Kacha! This silence did not last long before it was broken by a crisp sound from the high platform. On the high platform, Ancestor Demonic Gyo had smashed the chair he was sitting on into pieces with a dumbfounded look on his face. Ancestor Demonic Gyo had never imagined that the peak primal core stage Ningyu would be able to defeat the peak yin-yang stage Dan Chenzi in one move. Although Dan Chenzi had merely blocked the attack, it was enough to prove Ningyu's strength. Things might go south. Ancestor Demonic Gyo's expression was solemn. It's not a big deal. After the alchemy competition ends, let Ningyu participate in the Holy Sun assessment. With his strength, he has an 80% chance of becoming a Holy Sun. Black Widow wasn't too worried. As long as Ningyu can suppress all the fake holy sons and become the holy son of Dongwu College, I believe anyone who wants to make a move against him will have to think twice. Forget it. We'll deal with it when the time comes. When the time comes, I'll give Dan Chinzi a warning. Ancestor Demonic Geo took a deep breath and said slowly, Voila! Right at this time, Peng Zhou flew out from the square's entrance with several storage bags in his hands. What happened? The moment Peng Zhou appeared, he noticed Dan Chinzi's miserable state. Master, it's like this. Seeing Peng Zhou appear, Zhao Kuo hurriedly transmitted his voice to him. Listening to Zhao Kuo's story, Peng Zhou's face darkened. The soul wood was such an important item, but Ningyu had actually obtained it. Ningyu's alchemy skills were already very high, and with the addition of the soul wood, he would definitely be able to snatch one of the top 3 spots in the alchemy competition. Really knows how to cause trouble for me. Peng Zhou wished he could skin Dan Chinzi alive, but he knew that he and Dan Chinzi were on the same side. Before entering the pill cave, they had to fight side by side. In the next instant, Peng Zhou's figure flickered, landing beside Dan Chinzi. Are you all right? Peng Zhou asked. I'm fine, just careless. Dan Chinzi said in a low voice, We must take back the soul wood no matter what, no matter the cost. Let's put this matter aside for now. Next up is the alchemy competition's top 3 competition. Whether the first step of our plan succeeds depends on whether Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian can snatch the top 3 spots. Peng Zhou said solemnly, Peng, Peng. Suddenly, the sound of several pill lids flying into the air rang out. Clear and melodious sounds rang out from the other round tables. Seeing the situation on the round tables, Peng Zhou slowly rose into the air and announced in a clear voice, In this round of elimination, Ningyu, Hangdong, Shiyang, Chengqing, Liao Hua, and Zhou Hao have successfully advanced to the next round. Let's cut to the chase. The rules of the next round are very simple. Chapter 661. 5 Elements Blood Dragon Pill. The rules of the competition are quite interesting. After listening to Peng Zhou's introduction of the rules of the competition, Ningyu raised his eyebrows and muttered, It's interesting, but I'm afraid there's something fishy going on. At the side, Li Tongtian said solemnly, The elixir was prepared by Peng Zhou. Who knows, the alchemists in the Alchemy Union might already know what medicinal ingredients are in it. Whoosh! Hearing this, Ningyu and the others turned to look at Ren Xiangtian because Ren Xiangtian was an alchemist in the Alchemy Union. Don't look at me like that. I don't know what kind of medicinal herb is inside the storage pouch, Ren Xiangtian hastily said. Ren Xiangtian definitely didn't want to be the scapegoat. Moreover, he really did not know what medicinal herb was in the storage bag. A total of 10 alchemists, 1 round table for each of them. Just when Ren Xiangtian wanted to say something, Peng Zhou's voice resounded in the square again. You have 3 minutes to prepare. After 3 minutes, the alchemy competition will officially begin. Xiu! Xiu! In the next moment, Peng Zhou flicked his wrist and threw the 10 storage bags onto the stone table on the round platform. With that done, Peng Zhou's figure flashed and appeared beside Ancestor Demonic Jiu and the others. Peng Zhou, let me have a look at the medicinal ingredients you prepared. Seeing Peng Zhou appear, old Ancestor Demonji spoke. I've been ready for a long time. Peng Zhou knew that old Ancestor Demonic Jiu would definitely inspect them, so he prepared more than 10 sets of herbs. Firstly, it was to prevent old Ancestor Demonic Jiu from inspecting the pill, and secondly, it was to prevent someone else from refining a pill of the same grade. There are many ways to combine these herbs, ranging from a 1st-grade pill to a 6th-grade pill. Old Ancestor Demonic Jiu looked at the herbs in the storage bag and said solemnly, According to my observation, the highest quality pill refined from these herbs should be the 5 Elements Blood Dragon Pill. When I grabbed the medicinal ingredients, I grabbed them according to the 5 elements blood dragon pill and then put in a lot of other medicinal ingredients. Pan Zhou explained the 5 elements blood dragon pill is a 6th grade middle stage pill. It is particularly difficult to refine. Even an ordinary 6th grade late stage alchemist may not be able to refine it. The 5 elements blood dragon pill is indeed difficult to refine. Ancestor Damanju nodded. Let's see who can refine it first. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 minutes passed by quickly, and the 10 alchemists appeared on the round table. Because there were a lot of herbs in the storage bag, no one started to refine pills. Everyone was secretly calculating what grade of pills they should refine. Judging from the first few rounds of the competition, it would be very difficult for him to enter the top 3 by refining a grade 5 elixir. It was very obvious that everyone had set their sights on grade 6 medicinal pills. Voila! A few minutes later, the first alchemist to refine the pill appeared. Not Xiayan, not Hangdong, not Ningyu. Yi Tian. The first person to refine a medicinal pill was Leaf Sky. Hua. Following that, the second person started to refine pills. Both Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo have started concocting pills. Judging from this, they should know what pill with the highest quality made from these herbs is. Ningyu frowned when he saw Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo starting to concoct pills. He recalled the transmigration pill Audiobook in his mind, hoping to find a higher quality pill in it. Ningyu knew very well that he could refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill with the herbs in the storage bag. Since Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo started to refine pills so quickly, it meant that they were well prepared. Under this premise, it would be very difficult to defeat them with the 5 elements blood dragon pill, unless he could refine a supreme grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. With Ningyu's current soul force strength, refining a supreme grade 5 elements blood dragon pill was an impossible task. Got it. The 5 elements blood dragon pill is a mid-grade grade 6 medicinal pill. I'll refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill. Suddenly, Ningyu thought of a countermeasure. The 6 elements blood dragon pill's quality was slightly higher than the 5 elements blood dragon pill. According to the reincarnation pill Audiobook, both pills required the same herbs, but the refining method was slightly different. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. While Ningyu was pondering, the other alchemists started to refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill. Being able to stand out among so many participating alchemists, it meant that everyone had some skills. They all knew that it was only a matter of time before they could refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill. Why hasn't Ningyu started refining pills yet? In the square, Lu Wei was slightly worried. Don't worry. Ning, you must be considering what grade of medicinal pill to refine. Si Gongling comforted her. Ningyu can refine a supreme grade essence transformation pill in 10 minutes. He can at least enter the top 3 in this round of the competition. It's not impossible for him to compete for first place. It's going to be difficult to compete for first place. Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo's speed is too fast. I think they'll be the first to succeed. Zhou Tong frowned. He was also very worried. Zhou Tong's words caused everyone's gaze to fall on Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo. Yi Tian grabbed several medicinal herbs and threw them into the alchemy furnace. Then he started to crazily burn the bottom of the alchemy furnace. Zhao Kuo was slightly better than Yi Tian, but he also grabbed 2 medicinal herbs and threw them into the alchemy furnace. On the other hand, the other alchemists, even Xia Yan and Hang Dong, who had shown great alchemy skills, only grabbed 1 herb each time. Ningyu, why haven't you started refining pills yet? Zhao Kuo separated a wisp of his perception and noticed Ningyu's actions. The corners of his mouth rose into a smile, and he said, "Fortunately, Master had foresight and predicted that old ancestor demonic Jiu would do this. I've already prepared a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Let's see how you defeat me. Fortunately, I won the soul wood from Yi Tian. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill. Ningyu took a deep breath and secretly separated a portion of his soul force. He first used the soul wood to strengthen his soul force, and then he poured it into the alchemy furnace. Afterward, Ningyu unhurriedly threw the medicinal herbs into the alchemy furnace and began refining the blood dragon pill. In any case, he only had 1 hour. It didn't matter if he finished earlier or later. As long as the final pill was of high quality, he would win. Time was ticking away. In the blink of an eye, 40 minutes had passed. Rumble. An earth-shattering rumble resounded in the air. Zhao Kuo's right hand slammed heavily on the alchemy furnace, and a blood-red pill immediately burst out from the alchemy furnace. Swish! Zhao Kuo's eyes and hands were sharp, and he firmly grasped the blood-red pill in his hand. With the blood-red pill in his hand, Zhao Kuo looked provocatively at Ningyu. The expression on his face was extremely irritating. Rumble. At this time, Yi Tian, who was on the other round platform, also slammed the alchemy furnace, doing the same thing as Zhao Kuo. As expected, Yi Tian also held a blood-red pill in his hand. Swish! Seeing the blood-red pills in Yi Tian's and Zhao Kuo's hands, all the cultivators in the square revealed expressions of disbelief. Chapter 662. Half-Step Supergrade. The strength of Yi Tian's soul power is only at the early stage of level 5, and Zhao Kuo's soul power is only at the peak of level 5. How could they possibly refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir? That's right. The 5 elements blood dragon pill is a tier 6 intermediate elixir. With the strength of their soul force, it's basically impossible for them to refine it. Don't forget that Zhao Kuo is Peng Zhou's apprentice, and Yi Tian is Dan Chenzi's apprentice. I wouldn't be surprised if they refined a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Most of the people in the square were skeptical about Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian refining the 5 elements blood dragon elixir. Of course, there were also a small number of people who chose to believe in Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian. After all, both of their masters were not simple. One was Peng Zhou, and the other was Dan Chenzi. Guild leader Peng, congratulations, old ancestor Jiumo said calmly. Haha, Zhao Kuo was just lucky. It's his good fortune to be able to refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Peng Zhou said with a smile, looking slightly excited. In Peng Zhou's opinion, a high-grade 5 elemental blood dragon pill was enough for Zhao Kuo to enter the top 3. Transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon pill? Peng Zhou did not believe that the other 8 alchemists would be able to refine it. One had to know that even he did not dare to say that he could refine a transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon pill with a 100% success rate. He could only succeed 7 or 8 times out of 10. You're right. It's indeed Zhao Kuo's good fortune to be able to refine the upper grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Ancestor Jiumo's face was expressionless as he said, relying on the upper grade 5 elements blood dragon pill, Zhao Kuo should be able to get into the top 5. Of course, I'm sure I'll get the top. What? Top 5? Peng Zhou nodded. Just as he was about to speak, he suddenly realized something. Forefather Jiumo wasn't talking about the top 3, but the top 5. Could it be that even a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill could not enter the top 3? Xia Yan and Hang Dong are trying to refine transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon pills. Old ancestor, Jiumo glanced at the people on the round table and said, although it's difficult for them to refine a transcendent grade elixir with their soul force, as long as they can form the elixir, the final quality will definitely be higher than a high-grade elixir, reaching the half-step transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir. As for Ningyu, the elixir he refined is somewhat special. It's very likely that it's not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir. Is that even possible? Peng Zhou opened his mouth slightly. Half-step, transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon pill, as the name suggested, was of higher quality than high grade and lower quality than transcendent grade. As long as Hangdong and Xia Yan were able to refine this pill, Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian would definitely be pushed out of the top 2. Fortunately, Ning Yu didn't refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill. When he turned around and saw Ning Yu busying himself, Peng Zhou felt slightly relieved. Among the medicinal herbs in the storage bag, the highest grade of elixir that could be refined was the 5 elements blood dragon pill. Since Ning Yu didn't refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill, it meant that he had lost the qualification to compete for the top 3. He might even be ranked last. I hereby announce that the elixir refined by Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo is a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. At this moment, Dan Chenzi picked up the elixir on the stone table and said in a clear voice, "There's still half an hour before the end of the elixir refining. If the remaining alchemists want to compete for the top 3, they must at least refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Only then will they have the opportunity to compete for the top 3. Since this round was a competition to see who could refine the highest grade elixir, it had nothing to do with time. Even if Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian could refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill so quickly, they would not have any advantage. As long as the remaining alchemists could also refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill, they would have to compete to determine the final ranking. Look, Xia Yan is about to succeed." Suddenly, someone shouted in a low voice, pulling everyone in the square back from their shock. This time, everyone looked at Xia Yan's round table in unison. This was because Xia Yan had already refined all the medicinal ingredients and was only one step away from successfully refining the elixir. Rumble. However, before Xia Yan could finish refining the elixir, Hangdong's eyes turned cold on another round table. In an instant, the lid of the cauldron in front of him flew out, and a round elixir shot out from the cauldron. Swoosh! Hangdong stomped his feet on the ground and suddenly dashed out, firmly grabbing the elixir in his hand. A half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill. Dan Chenzi and Peng Zhou swallowed a mouthful of saliva when they sensed the aura emitted by the elixir in Hangdong's hand. Their faces were filled with shock. Although they had already guessed this outcome, they still could not accept it when it happened. Boom! However, before their shock disappeared, Xia Yan also slapped the cauldron and took out an elixir of the same quality. It was also a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill. There are really hidden dragons and crouching tigers in this year's alchemy competition. They can even refine a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill. It's really terrifying. In this case, Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian have been pushed down to 3rd and 4th place. It's hard to say. There are still 6 other alchemists. Who knows? There might be someone who can refine a half-step transcendent blood dragon pill. Crack! Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian's faces turned ashen when they heard the discussions of the surrounding martial artists. Originally, they thought they could take 1st and 2nd place. Who would have thought that Xia Yan and Hangdong would be so heaven-defying and both refine a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill? Now we're tied for 3rd place. If someone refines a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill. Yi Tian said with a grave expression, "That's impossible. Among these alchemists, only Xia Yan, Hangdong, and Ning Yu have high alchemy standards." Zhao Kuo said in a deep voice, "The rest are all mediocre. At most, they can refine a mid-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Ning, you might also be able to refine a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill," Yi Tian said worriedly. Hee hee, Master just told me that Ning Yu didn't refine a 5 elements blood dragon pill. Zhao Qua said gloomily, the 5 elements blood dragon pill is a mid-grade, 6th grade pill. If Ningyu doesn't refine a 5 elements blood dragon pill, he'll definitely lose. That's good, that's good. Yi Tian took a deep breath and slightly relaxed. He had lost the soul wood to Ningyu. If he still couldn't win the top 3 in the alchemy competition, one could imagine how Dan Qinzi would punish him. Now that he heard that Ning Yu didn't refine a 5 elements blood dragon pill, he even wanted to dance in front of so many people to celebrate. Don't think too much about it. After the alchemy competition is over, it'll be Ning Yu's time of death. Zhao Qua's lips curled up as he said, coldly, the overlord of Great Hill Royal City, the Situ family's patriarch and Situ family's patriarch have already arrived at the capital. When the time comes, you and I will insist that Situ Wen's disappearance has something to do with Ningyu. Yi Tian, what are you doing? Zhao Ku was thinking about how to sow discord between the Situ family and Ningyu. However, when he saw Yi Tian's surprised expression, he could not help but be a little stunned. Gulp! Look at Ningyu. Yi Tian swallowed a mouthful of saliva, his face revealing an extremely incredulous expression. Chapter 663. Meddling. Can Ningyu really refine a transcendent grade 5 elemental blood dragon pill? Zhao Ku pursed his lips, thinking that Yi Tian was making a mountain out of a molehill. He had already learned from Peng Zhou that Ningyu did not refine a 5 elemental blood dragon pill. Since Ningyu did not refine a 5 elemental blood dragon pill, it meant that Ningyu could not defeat them, which meant that they were still in 3rd place. Seeing Zhao Ku's nonchalant expression, Yi Tian swore and said coldly, "Why don't you King take a look at Ningyu?" "Fine, I'll take a look." "Ningyu can still CK. As he spoke, Zhao Ku turned his head and looked at the round platform where Ningyu was sitting. It would have been fine if he did not look, but when he did, Zhao Ku also swore. His expression turned extremely grave. On the round platform, Ningyu threw the last medicinal ingredient into the cauldron. At the same time, his peak 5th grade soul force poured into the cauldron. Not only that, but Ningyu also brought out his primordial qi and began to burn the bottom of the cauldron together with the indigo spiritual fire. Sizzle! As the temperature at the bottom of the cauldron continued to rise, sizzling sounds came from the cauldron, and the sounds were getting louder and louder. Bang! 10 minutes later, a crisp sound came from the cauldron and resounded throughout the square. Rise! With a low shout, Ningyu's eyes shone with a cold light as he lifted the lid of the cauldron. Following that, a blood-red pill appeared in Ningyu's hand. Whoosh! Looking at the blood-red pill in Ningyu's hand, the entire square was in an uproar. It was not that Ningyu had refined a transcendent grade 5 elemental blood dragon pill, but that none of the alchemists in the square could recognize the pill that Ningyu refined. This made things awkward. The elixir in Ningyu's hand is not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir. I also know that it's not a 5 elements blood dragon pill, but the aura emitted by the pill is relatively vigorous and the quality is not too bad. It should also be a grade 6 pill. The 5 elements blood dragon elixir is a tier 6 intermediate elixir. Unless the elixir in Ningyu's hands is a tier 6 advanced elixir, it won't be able to enter the top 3. It doesn't need to be a late-stage, 6th grade medicinal pill. At this time, an early-stage, 6th grade alchemist said, "If I'm not wrong, the quality of the pill in Ningyu's hand is very high, so as long as it's confirmed that the pill is an early-stage, 6th grade alchemist, he can still enter the top 3. Whoosh! 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 When Ningyu completed the pill, Old Ancestor Jomo and the others instantly tore through the void and appeared beside Ningyu. Among them, Old Ancestor Jomo said solemnly, "Bring the pill over and let me see." Show. Without the slightest hesitation, Ningyu directly threw the pill to old ancestor Jo Hamo. Old ancestor Do Hamo caught the pill and split out a wisp of his soul force to carefully examine it. After a long time, old ancestor Joamo said, "This pill is not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir." "We all know it's not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir," Peng Zhou said inwardly. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that Ning Yu didn't refine the 5 elements blood dragon elixir, but old ancestor Jiu Mo actually took a while to confirm it. However, old ancestor Jiu Mo's next words made Peng Zhou dumbfounded. Although it's not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir, the quality of this pill is much higher than the 5 elements blood dragon elixir. A wisp of flame appeared on old ancestor Jiu Mo's fingertip and started burning the pill refined by Ningyu. Crack, 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 crack. Suddenly, 6 cracking sounds rang out, and 6 blood-red marks appeared on the pill. What kind of pill is this? Why haven't I seen it before? Peng Zhou tried his best to calm down and asked in confusion. The 6 elements blood dragon elixir. Old ancestor Jiuemo said solemnly, "There are 5 blood-red marks on the 5 elements blood dragon elixir, but there are 6 blood-red marks on the 6 elements blood dragon elixir. There are records of the 6 elements blood dragon elixir in Danwu College's ancient books. Unfortunately, its refining method has been lost. Since the refining method has been lost, how could Ningyu refine it?" Peng Zhou hurriedly asked. "Don't think that others can't refine it if you can't." Ningyu shrugged and said indifferently, "I'm more suspicious of Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian. They are only grade 5 alchemists. How could they refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir?" "You." Peng Zhou's face turned cold, but he tried his best to restrain himself and said coldly, "Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian refined the 5 elements blood dragon elixir with their real skills, unlike you who refined some 6 elements blood dragon elixir." Peng Zhou rolled his eyes and continued, "Moreover, the medicinal ingredients I gave you can only refine a 5 elements blood dragon elixir at most. The 6 elements blood dragon elixir you refined must have additional medicinal ingredients. The ignorant are fearless. There are really a lot of idiots out there." Ning Yu ignored Peng Zhou and turned to old ancestor Jiu Mo Sr. "I refined the 6 elements blood dragon elixir, and its quality has reached the high grade. The high-grade 6 elements blood dragon elixir is indeed of a higher quality than the high-grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir." Old ancestor Jiu Mo's eyes swept across the remaining round tables. He pondered for a moment and said, "The other alchemists shouldn't be able to refine the high-grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir. Therefore, I hereby announce that the top 3 in this competition are Hangdong, Xieyan, and..." Wait! Before old ancestor Jiumo could finish speaking, Dan Chenzi came over and said coldly, "No one has seen the 6 elements blood dragon elixir before. So no one is convinced that Ning Yu refined the 6 elements blood dragon elixir." "No one is convinced? In my opinion, you're the one who isn't convinced." Old ancestor Jiu Mo raised an eyebrow and his face turned cold. "Haha." Dan Chenzi said that no one is convinced. Of course no one is convinced. At that moment, a hearty laughter rang out from the void. Then 2 figures landed steadily beside Ningyu and the others one after the other. Hiss! When Ningyu sensed a powerful aura from the 2 figures, his face turned solemn, and he sucked in a breath of cold air. The peak of the Yin-Yang realm, half-step manifestation realm. The middle-aged man's cultivation base was at the peak of the Yin-Yang realm, while the old man's cultivation base was at the half-step manifestation realm, just like old ancestor Jiumo. I was wondering who it was. So it's Patriarch Situ and old ancestor Situ. Old ancestor Jiumo raised an eyebrow and said calmly, I wonder what old ancestor Situ's intentions are by participating in the alchemy competition jointly organized by the Alchemy Union and Danwu College. Hee. What old ancestor Situ? Just call me Situ Zhang. The old man smiled and said, It's not that I'm participating in the alchemy competition, but this alchemist's soul strength is only at the peak of grade 5. I can't help but be suspicious that he can refine the 6 elements blood dragon elixir. You mean? Old ancestor Jiu Mo frowned. It's simple. Let this alchemist refine another 6 elements blood dragon elixir in front of us. Then I'll believe him and admit that he's in the top 3 of the alchemy competition. Situ Zhang said coldly, Humph. The alchemy competition is jointly organized by Danwu College and the Alchemy Union. No outsiders are allowed to behave atrociously. Chapter 664. Black evil old monster, hee, I'm not an outsider. Situ Zhang did not get angry when he heard old ancestor Jiu Mo's words. Instead, he smiled and said, Strictly speaking, I'm also a member of the Alchemy Union. Naturally, I have the right to intervene in the competition. I don't care if you're from the Alchemy Union or not. This is the capital of the Great Xia Kingdom, not the Great Hill Kingdom. Old ancestor Jiu Mo said in a deep voice. I know this is the capital of the Great Xia Kingdom. Situ Zhang did not seem to want to give up. He looked at Black Widow on the other side and took out a crystal ball from his pocket. Crack! Situ Zhang crushed the crystal ball easily with a little force. Buzz! The moment the crystal ball shattered, the space in the area seemed to tremble. Then a figure appeared from the void. Grandfather. In the distance, Zhao Kua's eyes widened as he stared at the figure that suddenly appeared in the void. His face was filled with astonishment. Zhao Kua thought that only the Situ family from the Great Hill Kingdom had come. Who would have thought that his grandfather would come too? Zhao Mu, the old ancestor of the Zhao family from the Kingdom King City. Old ancestor Jiu Mo's face turned grave when he sensed the aura that Zhao Mu exuded. If it was just Situ Zhang, a half-step manifestation realm martial artist, he would not be afraid. After all, he had the half-step manifestation realm Black Widow on his side. But after Zhao Mu appeared, things had become very difficult. Old ancestor Jiu Mo, Situ Zhang is right. Let this alchemist refine the 6 elemental blood dragon elixir again. Zhao Mu did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. He pointed at Ningyu and said, As long as he can refine the 6 elemental blood dragon elixir, we have nothing to say. That's a nice way of putting it. Old ancestor Jiu Mo took a deep breath and said, The 6 elemental blood dragon elixir is not only difficult to refine, but it also consumes a lot of yuan qi and soul strength. Even an ordinary peak grade 6 alchemist cannot refine 2 cauldrons of 6 elemental blood dragon elixir in such a short time, let alone a peak grade 5 alchemist like Ningyu. Let's discuss this. We can give Ningyu 10 minutes to rest, Situ Zhang said. There's no room for discussion. Forefather Jiu Mo's tone was firm. Old ancestor Jiu Mo, you have to negotiate with me today. Right at this moment, a low shout resounded in this area. Not good. The moment he heard the low roar, Ning Yu's complexion changed greatly. He hurriedly summoned the yuan in his sea of consciousness and wrapped it around his wrist. With a backhand punch, he punched out. Pa! In the next moment, a muffled sound was heard and Ning Yu's body fell backward like a kite with a broken string. Damn it! At the critical moment, Ningyu hurriedly released all the essence qi in his body and gathered it on his ankle, dispersing most of the force. Puchi! Even so, Ningyu still fell heavily to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Black evil monster! Forefather Jiu Mo's heart sank when he saw Ningyu fall to the ground with a single punch. Situ Zhang and Zhao Mu were two half-step manifestation realm cultivators, so they were not too strong. Forefather Jiu Mo could even fight against them alone. However, Black Evil Monster was different. Whether it was his martial arts or alchemy skills, he was comparable to Forefather Jiu Mo. Forefather Jiu Mo, why don't you give me some face today and let Ningyu refine the 6 elemental blood dragon pill again? Black Evil Monster shrugged and said, I asked Dan Chenzi for an elixir in the past, so I will definitely interfere in his matters. Ningyu is the false holy son of Danwu College. If I... Forefather Jiu Mo gritted his teeth. Senior, isn't it just refining the 6 elemental blood dragon pill again? It's not a big deal. When he saw Forefather Jiu Mo's grave expression, Ningyu interrupted him and said indifferently, a mere 6 elemental blood dragon pill is not a problem for me. Ha ha ha. Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian could not help but burst into laughter when they heard Ningyu's words. A mere 6 elemental blood dragon pill? How could Ningyu say such a thing? The 5 elemental blood dragon pill was a mid-tier 6th grade elixir. From this, it could be seen that the quality of the 6 elemental blood dragon pill had to be at the peak of mid-tier 6th grade, or even late-tier 6th grade. With Ningyu's alchemy skills, if he did not use the soul wood. Right, the soul wood. At this thought, Zhao Kuo hurriedly transmitted his voice to his grandfather, Zhao Mu. Grandfather, don't let Ningyu use the soul wood. I suspect that the first time he refined the 6 elemental blood dragon pill, he relied on the soul wood to refine it. Don't worry, I've already thought of that. Zhao Mu waved his hand, signaling Zhao Kuo not to worry at all. In fact, Zhao Mu, Situ Zhang, and Forefather Black Evil had already arrived at the capital. Dan Chenzi had already used a secret technique to inform them of what had just happened. In the beginning, they did not want to all come out. In their opinion, it was enough to make Forefather Jiu Mo retreat. However, Forefather Jiu Mo was so stubborn that the 3 of them had no choice but to come out together. For the sake of fairness, you cannot use anything that strengthens the soul, Forefather Black Evil said in a clear voice. That includes a heaven-defying artifact, like the soul would. Swish! Forefather Black Evil's shamelessness caused Ningyu's expression to instantly turn cold. If he could not use the soul wood, his chances of refining the 6 elemental blood dragon pill would drop by several tens of %. This was because the refinement of the 6 elemental blood dragon pill had extremely high requirements on the strength of one soul. Without reaching grade 6, it was almost impossible to succeed. By the way, I heard that you won the soul wood from Yi Tian through crafty schemes. Forefather Black Evil didn't seem to want to give up just like that. He said again, how about this? If you can't refine a high-grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill, no, if you can't refine a transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill, you'll have to return the soul wood to Yi Tian. Shameless, extremely shameless. Ningyu had seen shameless people in the past, but this was the first time he had seen Forefather Black Evil act so brazenly. Forefather Black Evil, are you determined to go against Danwu College? Forefather Jiu Mo couldn't bear to watch Forefather Black Evil's shamelessness. He said coldly, I'm not the only half-step manifestation realm martial artist in Danwu College. I'm not going against Danwu College. Forefather Black Evil smiled and said to Forefather Jiu Mo through soul transmission, don't think I don't know. Right now, Danwu College's people are fighting with the corpse sex experts in the Coiling Dragon Ridge. They have no time to care about what's happening here. You, Forefather Jiu Mo, released his aura. He had no intention of backing down. Forefather Black Evil, right? But just as Forefather Jiu Mo released his aura, Ningyu's voice slowly sounded in the area. I can agree to all of your requests, but I have a small request. I don't know if you dare to agree to it. Do I dare to agree to it? Forefather Black Evil pointed at his nose and said coldly, "I'm a half-step manifestation realm martial artist. Why would I be afraid of you?" "Very well, then I'll state my request." Ningyu remained expressionless and said calmly. Chapter 665. Agree. You want me to give you millions of transcendent grade essence crystals as compensation? Old Freak Black Nefarious couldn't believe his ears. He said in a deep voice, "You're very arrogant. You're the first primordial core realm martial artist to dare say such words to me." "If that's the case, I'm very honored," Ningyu said lightly. "You're indeed honored." Old Freak Black Nefarious said coldly, "Enough nonsense. Start refining the 6 elements, blood dragon pill. I'll agree to all your requests." "Pengzhou, give another storage bag to Ningyu. I want to see how he can refine a transcendent grade 6 elements, blood dragon pill." Old Freak Black Nefarious turned to look at Pengzhou and said in a deep voice, "Swish." Pengzhou had already prepared several storage bags. Now that he heard Old Freak Black Nefarious words, he directly took out a storage bag from his bosom and threw it to Ningyu. "Pa!" Ningyu stretched out his palm and caught the storage bag firmly. Subsequently, Ningyu divided a bit of his perception into the storage bag. After confirming that the medicinal ingredients in the storage bag hadn't decreased, he immediately took out the pill furnace and began refining the 6 elements blood dragon pill in front of everyone. Old Freak Black Nefarious, the 6 elements blood dragon pill can't be refined in a short time. Let's go to the high platform and wait. Old Freak Gomo had always felt that Ningyu was somewhat unusual. Ningyu's calmness surprised him. However, old ancestor Gomo knew very well that the 6 elements blood dragon pill was extremely difficult to refine, and it couldn't be disturbed by outsiders. If Old Freak Black Nefarious and the others used tricks to disturb Ningyu, the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. All right, but someone needs to guard here to prevent Ningyu from cheating. Old Freak Black Nefarious thought for a moment and said, "Dan Chenzi, you guard here and ensure that Ningyu doesn't cheat." With that, the black evil monster's figure flashed, and he flew toward the high platform. However, after taking a few steps, Old Freak Black Nefarious stopped as if he had thought of something. "Dan Chenzi, you should be very familiar with the soul wood. Keep an eye on Ningyu. Don't let him use it." After saying that, Old Monster Black Evil gave Old Ancestor Gomo a provocative look before leaping off the ground and rushing towards the platform. "Damn it!" Ancestor Gomo cursed inwardly and followed behind Old Monster Black Nefarious. Whoosh! 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 After Forefather Gomo and Old Monster Black Evil left, Realm King City's Jiaomu, Great Hill Royal City's Sitazhang, Situ Clan's Patriarch, and even Black Widow and Pengzhou did not stay. They tore through the void and appeared on the high platform. At this moment, only 2 people remained on the round platform. One was Dan Chenzi, and the other was naturally Ningyu. Humph. If he doesn't use the soul wood, he'll be lucky enough to refine inferior grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill, let alone a supreme 6 elemental blood dragon pill. Dan Chenzi sneered as he watched Ningyu throw the medicinal herbs into the cauldron. "Once you fail, I'll immediately take you down and snatch the soul wood." Dan Chenzi did not doubt Ningyu's alchemy skills at all. This was because he firmly believed that Ningyu would never be able to refine a supreme 6 elemental blood dragon pill. Moreover, that was under the premise that he did not use the soul wood. If someone told Dan Chenzi that Ningyu could refine a supreme 6 elemental blood dragon pill, Dan Chenzi would probably fly into a rage on the spot and teach that person a lesson. Wasn't that just lying through his teeth? Li Tong Tian, you seem to be more familiar with Ningyu. Below the round platform, Heng Dong frowned slightly and said solemnly, "Do you know how strong Ningyu's actual alchemy skills are?" "That's hard to say. Li Tongtian had already completed his alchemy. He had refined a medium-grade 5 elemental blood dragon pill and was unable to compete for the top 3 spots. Hearing Hang Dong's words, Li Tongtian pondered for a moment and said, I believe in Ningyu. He should have a 20% chance of refining a supreme 6 elemental blood dragon pill. 20% chance? You're overestimating that brat Ningyu. Before Hang Dong could speak, Zhao Kuo said darkly, Ningyu was only able to refine a superior 6 elemental blood dragon pill by sheer luck. Moreover, he only managed to do it with the help of the soul wood. Now that he can't use the soul wood, how is he going to refine the 6 elemental blood dragon pill? That's right. If nothing goes wrong, Ningyu's pill will explode in another 10 minutes or so, Yi Tian added. What an idiot. At this moment, Xie Yan, who was on the other side, curled his lips and said, Although Ningyu offended the 13th prince and deserves a beating, it's undeniable that his alchemy skills are very high. They might even be on par with mine. Who are you calling an idiot? Xie Yan's voice was not soft. Naturally, Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian heard him loud and clear. They rebuked him in unison. Short-sighted fools. I can't be bothered to talk to you. Xie Yan snorted coldly. He turned around and walked away, intending to leave the square. Damn it. Go. Xie Yan's last sentence seemed to have triggered Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo. Without another word, they rose from the ground and launched a powerful attack at Xie Yan. Xie Yan did not take Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo to heart as they approached him. He continued walking forward. Whoosh! However, Xie Yan had only taken a few steps when Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian appeared on either side of him. They each threw a punch at his face. Crack! Crack! At this critical moment, Xie Yan quickly attacked with both hands. In the time it takes for a spark to fly off a flint, 2 crisp voices came from beside him. Ah! Ah! What followed were 2 miserable shrieks that sounded like pigs being slaughtered. Humph! You guys sneak-attacked me. It's not too much for me to kill you. Xie Yan snorted coldly, his eyes filled with killing intent. Hiss! As soon as Xie Yan's killing intent appeared, Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian gasped and took a few steps back. If you have the time to attack me, you should think about how to get rid of Ningyu, Xie Yan said. He left the square without looking back. Zhao Kuo and Yi Tian clenched their fists as they watched Xie Yan's disappearing figure. A vicious look appeared on their faces. Hiss! Hiss! Just as they were thinking about how to get back at Xie Yan, a hissing sound came from the round platform and reached their ears. Hearing the hissing sound, they quickly turned to look at the round platform. Zhao Kuo's mouth was agape when he saw Ningyu's actions on the round platform. He was dumbfounded. He actually refined all the medicinal herbs. How can he be so fast? It's been less than 10 minutes. How did Ningyu do it? Yi Tian was also stunned. He could not believe what he was seeing. Even a pinnacle 6th grade alchemist might not be able to refine all the medicinal herbs in less than 10 minutes. I have to speed up. On the round platform, Ningyu kept channeling his primal qi into the alchemy cauldron. At the same time, his pinnacle 5th grade soul force poured out and attached to the walls of the cauldron. Chapter 666. A 50% chance if I want to refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. I must have a 6th grade soul force. Ningyu turned his head to look at Dan Qinzi, who was staring at him, and quickly thought of a countermeasure. The 6 elements blood dragon pill had a very high requirement for soul force. It was basically impossible to refine with a 5th grade soul force. If he could use the soul wood, Ningyu would not care too much. After all, he could rely on the soul wood to raise his soul force to the 6th grade in a short time. Now that he could not use the soul wood, he could only take the risk and borrow Sun Jiangwen's soul force in front of Dan Qinzi. Sun Jiangwen, under the premise of not being discovered by Dan Chinzi. How confident are you in transferring your soul power into the alchemy furnace? Ning Yu's mind moved, and he began to contact Sun Jiangwen. 50%. Sun Jiangwen pondered for a moment and said solemnly, Dan Chinzi's perception is very strong. Under his eyes, I only have a 50% chance at most. 50% is not low. Ning Yu fell into deep thought. As long as Sun Jiangwen's peak 7th grade soul force could enter the furnace, Ning Yu had 99% confidence in refining a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. But doing so was also risky. Given Dan Chinzi's character, once he found a clue, he would definitely attack directly without the slightest consideration. Sun Jiangwen, I will put my palm into the furnace later. You must seize this opportunity. Ning Yu took a deep breath and slapped the furnace with his left hand. Suddenly, the lid flew up slightly. The moment the lid flew up, Ning Yu suddenly stretched out his right hand and put it into the furnace in front of everyone. Clatter! Ning Yu's action immediately caused an uproar among the surrounding martial artists. In about 15 minutes, Ning Yu can have refined a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, right? Impossible. If Ning Yu can refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, I will write my name backwards. Why did Ning Yu put his hand into the furnace? Holy shit! Ning Yu took his hand out again. Everyone's discussion didn't last long before they were once again attracted by Ning Yu. On the round platform, Ning Yu quickly removed his right hand from the pill furnace. At the same time, he increased the intensity of the flame, burning the bottom of the pill furnace. Seeing this, everyone felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders, and they slightly relaxed. If Ning Yu really refined the transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill so quickly, it was estimated that many alchemists would lose the courage to refine pills. What the hell is he doing? Although Ning Yu did not refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, Dan Chinzi did not look relieved. On the contrary, he looked very serious. After a short while, Dan Chinzi shook his head and continued to increase his perception, paying close attention to Ning Yu's movements. Forget it. So long as he doesn't use the soul wood, he'll definitely be unable to refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. Sun Jiangwen, completely conceal yourself. Without my permission, you can obediently stay in the spatial ring. Among all the people present, Ning Yu was the one who felt the most relieved and relaxed. After obtaining Sun Jiangwen's peak grade 7 soul force, what Ning Yu needed to do next was to refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill step by step. There was no need to deliberately pursue speed. Of course, he couldn't be too slow. If he was too slow, he would exceed the 1-hour time limit, and the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. Ha! Old ancestor GMO, Ning Yu seems to have fallen into a bottleneck. On the high platform, the corners of old freak black nefarious mouth curled up. At the beginning, Ning Yu refined all the medicinal ingredients in less than 10 minutes. Old freak black nefarious was extremely shocked. He was afraid that Ning Yu would really refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. But when he saw what Ning Yu did next, he finally relaxed and breathed a sigh of relief. I don't know whether Ning Yu is in trouble or not. I only know that if you lose, you will have to leave the capital and give Ning Yu millions of transcendent grade origin crystals as compensation. Old ancestor GMO said coldly, with your status, you will have to prepare at least 2 million transcendent grade origin crystals. How can 2 million transcendent grade origin crystals be enough? I've already prepared them. Old freak black nefarious flicked his sleeve, and a storage bag flew towards old ancestor Jomo. Old ancestor Mo flicked his finger, and a cold light flew out, forcing the storage bag to stop in front of him. Swish! Old freak black nefarious stood up from his chair when he saw old ancestor Jiumo's actions. The storage bag that he had just thrown wasn't as simple as it looked. He had used a full 80% of his strength. The fact that old ancestor Jiumo could resolve it so easily showed that his strength was heaven-defying. It said that old ancestor Jiumo's strength is enough to rank in the top 5 of the Great Xia Kingdom. It seems that his reputation is well-deserved. Old Freak Black Nefarious said in a deep voice, "Haha, there are 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals in the storage bag. That's befitting of your status." Old ancestor Jiumo didn't answer old Freak Black Nefarious' question. Instead, he smiled and said, "Let me thank you on behalf of Ningyu." "No need to thank me. It won't be easy for Ningyu to obtain these transcendent grade origin crystals." Old Freak Black Nefarious took a deep breath and said in a sinister tone, "The 6 elements blood dragon pill isn't that easy to refine. Let's wait and see." Old ancestor Jiumo threw the storage bag to old Freak Black Nefarious and didn't say anything else. Since old ancestor Jiumo didn't say anything, old Freak Black Nefarious naturally wouldn't ask for a snub. He sat back on his chair and chose to close his eyes to rest. For a moment, the entire plaza gradually quietened down. Everyone stared at Ningyu, who was on the round platform. They couldn't even take their eyes off him. Time ticked by, and in the blink of an eye, it had been 50 minutes since Ningyu started refining the 6 elements blood dragon pill. There are only 10 minutes left. I don't think Ningyu will be able to refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill. While Ningyu was refining the 6 elements blood dragon pill, Zhao Kuo hurriedly treated his wrist and didn't leave. In his dreams, the 6 elements blood dragon pill is so difficult to refine. If Ningyu can, what? Just like Zhao Kuo, Yi Tian simply treated his wrist and stayed in the square. However, just as he was about to join Zhao Kuo in mocking Ningyu, he saw a shocking scene. Bang! On the round platform, Ningyu's eyes widened. Under everyone's shocked gazes, he raised his right foot and kicked the cauldron. Swoosh! In the next instant, a pill that contained a blood-red mist shot out of the cauldron and landed firmly in Ningyu's hand. Everyone in the plaza stared blankly at the blood-red pill in Ningyu's hand, speechless for a long time. Supreme 6 Elements Blood Dragon Pill. After a few minutes, someone swallowed a mouthful of saliva, causing the originally quiet plaza to suddenly become noisy. This is unbelievable. This is definitely the most unbelievable thing that has happened in the Great Xia Kingdom this year. Yeah, Ningyu is only a peak 5 elements alchemist, right? How could he refine a supreme 6 elements blood dragon pill? Chapter 667. Not qualified. It really is a transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill. Everyone's guess was right. Dan Shinzi's expression was extremely ugly and gloomy. He could not understand how Ningyu, whose soul power was only at the peak of grade 5, could refine a transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill. Dan Shinzi, why aren't you checking the pill? I'll hold old ancestor Jiumo back. Just when Dan Shinzi was at a loss of what to do, a soft voice entered his ears. Dan Shinzi rejoiced in his heart when he heard this soft voice. However, his expression did not change as he said, "Ningyu, hand over the medicinal pill in your hand. I want to check it and determine if it is a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill." "You want to check the pill?" Ningyu shook the blood-red pill in his hand and said indifferently, "Your martial arts strength is not the strongest here, nor is your alchemy level the highest. What qualifications do you have to check this 6 elemental blood dragon pill?" "I don't have the qualifications." Dan Shinzi pointed at his nose and said coldly, "With my cultivation at the peak of the yin-yang realm and the strength of an early stage, grade 8 soul power." "Haha, There are many martial artists at the peak of the yin yang realm. Who do you think you are? Moreover, do you think you are a grade 8 soul power just because your soul power has reached grade 8? I can even say that my soul power has reached grade 9. Ningyu shrugged and smiled faintly. Unless you can also refine a transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill in front of me. Whoosh! Although Ningyu's voice was not loud, all the martial artists in the square heard it clearly. Dan Chenzi is an early-stage grade 8 alchemist. He can definitely refine a mere transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill. That's right. Dan Chenzi is the Great Xia Kingdom's alchemy king. I'm guessing he can refine a transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill in half an hour. Half an hour? You think too highly of Dan Chenzi. An alchemist who couldn't stand Dan Chenzi curled his lips and said with disdain, "The refinement method of the 6 elemental blood dragon elixir has long been lost. It can be said that in the vast Great Xia Kingdom, there might not be a second person who can refine the 6 elemental blood dragon elixir." Boom! The words of this alchemist caused a huge uproar in the crowd. The refining method of the 6 elements blood dragon pill was lost? Didn't it mean that Ningyu's ability to refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill was extremely heaven-defying? Dan Chenzi's face turned ashen when he saw everyone's reaction. He wished he could immediately teach Ningyu a lesson. However, he had not lost his rationality. He knew that if he attacked Ningyu now, he would be jumping into a pit of fire. It would be a strenuous and fruitless effort. Ningyu, if you say that I don't have the qualifications to inspect the pills in your hands, then who does? Dan Chenzi took a deep breath and tried hard to calm himself down. There are many people who do. In any case, you've already been excluded. Ningyu's gaze shifted to the high platform, landing on old ancestor Gioemo. In a clear voice, he said, "Senior, I hope you can come out and inspect whether I'm refining a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill or not. All right, I also want to see whether you have real talent or not." Old ancestor Gioemo responded. He immediately rose from the ground, wanting to tear the void. Pa! However, just as old ancestor Gioemo was about to move, a huge palm pressed down on his shoulder. Old ancestor Gioemo turned his head and looked. It turned out to be old monster black evil. "What do you mean by this?" Old ancestor Gioemo said in a deep voice. Old ancestor black evil was opposing him at this critical juncture, completely disregarding him. It was obvious that he wanted to interfere with Ningyu's alchemy. "Nothing much. I just want to go and have a check with you," Old ancestor black evil said indifferently. "No matter what, I took out 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals. If you colluded with Ningyu to harm me, wouldn't I suffer a great loss? That seems to make some sense." Old ancestor Giomo's eyes narrowed slightly. On the surface, he muttered to himself, but in private he sent a soul message to Ningyu. "Is the 6 elements blood dragon pill you're refining really a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill? Will it be exposed when we inspect it later? Senior, you can rest assured. The 6 elements blood dragon pill I refined is 100% a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill." Old ancestor Gioemo was acting on behalf of Ningyu. "Ning, you did not dare to lie." "That's enough." Old ancestor Gioemo nodded. He then tore the void and flew towards Ningyu. "Humph. I want to see if you can refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill." Old ancestor black evil gave Zhao Mu and Situ Zhan a meaningful look. He then tore the void and followed old ancestor Gioemo swish, swish, after old ancestor Gioemo and old ancestor black evil left. Zhao Mu and Situ Zheng's figures flickered. They stood on the left and right of the Black Widow. Their intentions were clear. They did not want to let the Black Widow leave the high platform. I want to see what medicine you two have up your sleeves. Despite being surrounded by Zhao Mu and the others, the Black Widow did not show the slightest bit of anger. Instead, she closed her eyes tightly, as if what was happening in the outside world had nothing to do with her. The Black Widow chose to close her eyes and rest. Zhao Mu and Sidu Zhang, on the other hand, were happy to be at ease. They split out a bit of their perception and looked towards the round platform Ningyu was on. At this time, Old Ancestor Jiu-Mo and Old Ancestor Black Evil had already appeared on the round platform. Old Ancestor Black Evil did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Ningyu, hand over the pill in your hand. I want to see if it's a Transcendent Grade 6 Elements Blood Dragon Pill. Hearing Old Ancestor Black Evil's direct words, Ningyu's expression turned solemn. He said, "It's not that I don't want to hand it over to you, but I've already promised Old Ancestor Jiu-Mo that I will hand it over to him." Swoosh! With that, Ningyu flicked his sleeve and a blood-red pill flew towards Old Ancestor Jiu-Mo. Humph! What do you mean by promise? Do you think I would cheat for personal gain? Old Ancestor Black Evil snorted coldly when he saw the blood-red pill fly out of Ningyu's sleeve. He immediately leaped up and reached out with his right hand, firmly grasping the pill in his hand. However, as soon as Old Ancestor Black Evil grabbed the pill, he sensed something unusual and hurriedly opened his right hand. Damn it! When he saw that the pill in his right hand was not the 6 Elements Blood Dragon Pill, Old Ancestor Black Evil's face instantly darkened. He was on the verge of exploding with rage. On the other side, Ningyu flicked his wrist and a blood-red pill appeared in his hand. "Senior, this is the pill I just refined. Please check it." Ningyu extended his palm and handed the pill to Old Ancestor Jiu-Mo. At such a close distance, it was already too late for Old Ancestor Black Evil to intervene. Old Ancestor Jiu-Mo easily took the pill from Ningyu's hand. Then Old Ancestor Jiu-Mo ignored Old Ancestor Black Evil's murderous gaze and began to seriously examine the pill. After a while, Old Ancestor Jiu-Mo raised the blood-red pill above his head and said in a deep voice, "The pill Ningyu refined is indeed the 6 Elements Blood Dragon Pill. Both its quality and purity show that it is a transcendent grade pill. In order to let everyone have a better understanding, I will personally demonstrate for everyone." Then a flame appeared on Old Ancestor Jiu-Mo's fingertip and continuously burned the blood-red pill in his hand. Crack! 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 The pill didn't burn for long before it emitted 6 consecutive cracking sounds that were exceptionally ear-piercing. After the cracking sounds, 6 blood-red marks appeared on the pill's body. Moreover, these marks looked even more obvious. It really is a Transcendent Grade 6 Elements Blood Dragon Pill. I already said that Ningyu could definitely refine a Transcendent Grade 6 Elements Blood Dragon Pill, but none of you believed me. What did you say? When did you say that? Chapter 668. 3 million whoosh. The Peacemaker's words drew everyone's attention to Dan Qinzi and Peng Zhou. Although Dan Qinzi knew that Ningyu had refined a Transcendent Grade 6 Elements Blood Dragon Pill, he was still somewhat unwilling to hear it from Old Ancestor Jiu-Mo. "We must find a chance to get rid of Ningyu." Dan Qinzi said fiercely, "Get rid of him. We must get rid of him." Peng Zhou was also very angry. Ningyu had refined a Transcendent Grade 6 Elements Blood Dragon Pill, which meant that Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo could only settle for 4th and 5th place. According to the rules of the alchemy competition, the 4th and 5th place alchemists were not allowed to enter Danwu College's Pill Cavern to cultivate. After spending so much time and energy in the end, everything was ruined by Ningyu. How could Peng Zhou and Dan Chenzi not be angry? Peng Zhou, it's not convenient for us to get involved in the matter of killing Ningyu. Dan Chenzi's eyeballs rolled as he spoke to Peng Zhou through his soul. Didn't Situ Wen go missing? Tell the Situ family head and Situ Zhang that Situ Wen's disappearance has something to do with Ningyu. No, you have to be even more ruthless. Just say that Situ Wen was killed by Ningyu. Isn't this a little too extreme? Peng Zhou frowned and said, we don't know if Situ Wen is dead or not. If Situ Zhang finds out that we are playing with him, the consequences will be unimaginable. Situ Zhang was a half-step to the manifestation realm, so Peng Zhou naturally did not want to take such a huge risk. Don't worry. Situ Wen has been missing for such a long time. He must be dead. Dan Chenzi said coldly, you can't catch the wolf without sacrificing the child. If Situ Zhang doesn't kill Ningyu, we'll use Yi Tian and Zhao Kuo as bait to lure Ningyu. But what if Ningyu stays in Danwu College and doesn't come out? Peng Zhou was still a little worried. Dan Chenzi glanced at Lu Jin and the others below the round platform. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly as he said sinisterly, he has no choice but to leave Danwu College. Ningyu was unaware of the conversation between Peng Zhou and Dan Chenzi. At this moment, Ningyu looked at the black evil freak and said, you are a half-step manifestation realm martial artist, so I will address you as senior. Ning, you gave the black nefarious old monster a label to prevent him from going back on his word. Senior, you said that as long as I refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, you will immediately leave the capital. Humph, I am a man of my word. Old monster black nefarious harumphed coldly. He had no intention of leaving. At the same time, the black evil monster cast a glance at Zhao Mu and Situ Zhang. Hiss! Old freak black nefarious face darkened when he saw it. On the round platform, Zhao Mu and Situ Zhang were completely suppressed by the Black Widow. Their foreheads were covered in beads of sweat. Ningyu, I said that as long as you refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, I will leave the capital. Now I am a man of my word. I will leave immediately. Old monster black nefarious did not want to leave. He wanted to pressure Ningyu again. At the very least, he wanted to force Ningyu to spit out the soul wood. However, when he saw Zhao Mu and Situ Zhang, he instantly changed his mind. Situ Zhang and Zhao Mu were easily suppressed by the Black Widow. One could imagine that he was no match for the Black Widow and old ancestor Jiao. The Black Widow is so powerful. Old ancestor Jiao was also very shocked. In old ancestor Jiao-Mo's knowledge, although the Black Widow was not weak, she was not this powerful. The strength that the Black Widow displayed was even comparable to his. Senior, are you going to leave just like that? Did you forget something? Seeing that old monster black, nefarious, wanted to leave, Ningyu naturally would not let the matter rest. Ningyu took a step forward and said in a deep voice, I remember that not only did you say that you would leave the capital, but you also said that you would give me a few million transcendent grade origin crystals as compensation. With your wealth, I reckon that you can get 5 or 6 million transcendent grade origin crystals just by plucking a strand of hair. Hearing Ningyu's words, including old monster black nefarious and old ancestor Jiao, the corners of their mouths twitched a few times. Did he really think that it was that easy to obtain transcendent grade origin crystals? As a half-step manifestation, realm old monster black nefarious. His entire fortune might not even have 10 million transcendent grade origin crystals. In order to prevent old monster black nefarious from going back on his word, old ancestor Jiao decided to help Ningyu. Old monster black nefarious, take it out. You already prepared 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals. Fine. You win. Being watched by so many people, old monster Black Nefarious was in a dilemma. However, for the sake of his reputation, old monster Black Nefarious obediently took out the storage bag and threw it to Ningyu. Take it. There are 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals in the storage bag. Let's see if you have the ability to catch it. Old ancestor Jiu Mo's expression changed slightly when he saw the storage bag flying towards Ningyu. He immediately rushed out to catch the storage bag for Ningyu. Swoosh! However, old monster Black Nefarious figure flickered and appeared in front of old ancestor Jiu-Mo. Haha. It's just 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals. Do you think I can deceive Ningyu? Old monster Black Nefarious laughed as he made his move. With Ningyu's strength, it shouldn't be possible that he can't even catch a storage bag, right? Of course I can catch a storage bag. Suddenly, Ningyu raised his eyebrows and quickly reached out with his right hand to grab the storage bag. Ningyu, watch out! Old ancestor Jiu-Mo shouted when he saw Ningyu's actions. Ha ha ha! Ningyu, you're too naive. Old monster Black Nefarious laughed maniacally. Even a peak Yin-Yang realm martialist might not be able to catch my storage bag. I really admire you. Hee, Ningyu is finished this time. Even if he doesn't die, he'll be severely injured, Dan Chinzi said with a sinister smile. Of course he's finished. Does he think half-step manifestation realm martialists are vegetarians? Peng Zhou echoed. I've never thought half-step manifestation realm martialists are vegetarians. However, just as Dan Chinzi and the others finished mocking old monster Black Nefarious, Ningyu's words resounded in the area. From Ningyu's tone, one could vaguely hear a hint of relief. Soon Jiangwen, get everyone alive in the storage ring to transfer their primordial energy to my wrist. Although Ningyu sounded very relaxed, he was extremely nervous on the inside. He hurriedly ordered Sun Jiangwen and the others to transfer their primordial energy to his wrist. Ningyu sensed an extremely powerful aura coming from the storage bag that was flying towards him. This aura could instantly kill a late-stage Yin-Yang realm martialist. In the past, Ningyu might have been afraid of this aura. However, he was no longer afraid now. Chi! As the storage bag approached Ningyu, the primordial energy on Ningyu's wrist became denser. In the end, the primordial energy on Ningyu's wrist started pulsating and emitting a sizzling sound. Rumble! In the next moment, a rumbling sound rang out. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Ningyu's wrist collided with the storage bag. Rip! The moment the storage bag and Ningyu's wrist collided, it was torn in half. Walala! Chapter 669. Plot Gulp. Looking at the mountainous pile of primal crystals on the platform, all the martial artists in the square swallowed their saliva. Their faces were filled with desire. Fortunately, Ancestor Jiu-Mo and the others had acted as a deterrent on the round platform. Otherwise, Ningyu wouldn't have been able to protect so many transcendent grade origin crystals by himself. Collect! While everyone was still in shock, Ningyu flicked his sleeves and several storage bags flew out. A powerful suction force burst out from each of the storage pouches, and in no time, the 3 million supreme grade origin crystals scattered on the round table were completely plundered. Senior Black Evil, thank you for the 3 million primal crystals. Ningyu put the storage bags into his storage ring and cupped his hands at old freak Black Evil. With so many primal crystals, I can try to break through to the Yin-Yang realm. You win. Old freak Black Evil resisted the urge to attack. He glared at Ningyu, tore open the void, and entered. You guys can leave too. Not long after the Black Evil monster disappeared. On the other side of the high platform, the Black Widow released Zhao Mu and Situ Zheng, allowing them to move freely. Zhao Mu and Situ Zheng didn't say anything. They tore open the void and followed old freak black evil. Swish! After Zhao Mu and Situ Zhang left, Black Widow teleported to Ning Yu's platform. Congratulations! Not only did you refine the 6-elemental blood dragon pill, but you also obtained 3 million primal crystals, Black Widow said. Ning Yu's greatest joy isn't the 3 million primal crystals, but winning first place in the alchemy competition. Old Ancestor Jiumo smiled and said, the top 3 of the alchemy competition can enter the pill cavern to cultivate for a day and a night. However, with Ning Yu's alchemy talent, I can buy him 2 days and 2 nights. Gasp! Hearing this, Xie Yan, Li Tongtian, and the others all sucked in a breath of cold air and looked enviously at Ning Yu. Others might not know what it meant to stay in the pill cavern for 2 days and 2 nights, but they knew it very well. In Danwu College, if the Danwu Pool was the dream place of the Sacred Institute's cultivators, then the pill cavern was the dream place of a fake saint and even a saint. There were even some Tier 7 and Tier 8 pill refiners who dreamed of entering the pill cavern to cultivate for a period of time. Damn it! Damn it! This time should have belonged to Yi Tian and Peng Zhou. Dan Chenzi's expression was extremely gloomy and unsightly. Don't worry, Ning Yu won't enter the pill cave so quickly. At this time, Peng Zhou was very calm. He said calmly, if nothing goes wrong, Ning Yu will probably enter the pill cavern early tomorrow morning. We'll make good use of tonight and try to get rid of him. Time is of the essence. Let's contact Situ Zhang and the rest as soon as possible. Dan Chenzi did not want to stay here for a moment longer. He said in a low voice, Peng Zhou, since the alchemy competition has ended, hurry up and announce it. Don't delay any longer. Cough, cough. Peng Zhou coughed dryly and said in a clear voice, the alchemy competition has ended. First, I'd like to congratulate the top 3 cultivators, Ning Yu, Xie Yan, and Hang Dong. Just now, Patriarch Jiumo said that Hang Dong and Xie Yan can enter the pill cavern to cultivate for a day and night, while Ning Yu can enter the pill cavern to cultivate for 2 days and 2 nights. At this point, Peng Zhou paused for a moment before continuing. Don't be discouraged if you didn't get into the top 3. From now on, the Alchemy Union will hold an alchemy competition, and all genius alchemists will be able to participate. Oh yes, I'll distribute the resources for the next year based on the performance of the alchemists in each city's Alchemy Union. The many cultivators in the square had waited for so long because they wanted to see if Ning Yu could refine a supreme grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. On the other hand, they were waiting for Peng Zhou to say this. After all, many of them were from the Alchemy Union. They had come to the capital to participate in the alchemy competition to fight for more resources for their Alchemy Union. Ning Yu, the alchemy competition has ended. Do you want to return to Danwu College with me? Patriarch Jiu Mo ignored Peng Zhou's words and started chatting with Ning Yu. Senior, let's do it tomorrow. I still have some matters to attend to. Ning Yu thought for a moment and said, I'll look for you at Danwu College first thing in the morning. It's fine. If you have matters to attend to, you can go ahead. Now that you're the fake holy son of Danwu College, just tell Li Tongtian if there's anything. He has a way to contact me. Patriarch Jiu Mo waved his hand and tore the void apart, disappearing. Seeing that Patriarch Jiu Mo had left, Ning Yu turned to look at Li Tongtian. From what Patriarch Jiu Mo had said, it seemed that Li Tongtian had a close relationship with him. Seeing that Ning Yu was looking at him, Li Tongtian nodded slightly, tacitly agreeing with Ning Yu's guess. What the F***CK? He actually has such a powerful backer. Ning Yu was a little speechless. It turned out that Li Tongtian had such a powerful backer. It was actually Patriarch Jiu Mo, who was half a step to the manifestation realm. How could he have hidden it so well? Ning Yu, if you have time, come to the black market. Just as Ning Yu was shocked by the relationship between Li Tongtian and Patriarch Jiu Mo, the Black Widow quietly came to his side and whispered in his ear, "No matter when, I will always welcome you." After saying that, the Black Widow even breathed into Ningyu's ear, making Ningyu's ear itch. Buzz, buzz! After that, the Black Widow's lips curled up slightly. Then, in a flash, she disappeared. "President Peng, we will also take our leave." After the Black Widow and the rest left, Xiao Ji from Drunken Cloud Manor and Zhang Lei from the Zhang family also bade farewell to Peng Zhou and left the plaza. Rumble. The departure of the upper echelons was like a fuse that instantly spread throughout the plaza. At this moment, other than those from the Alchemy Union, the rest of the martial artists dispersed. Not long after, the originally noisy plaza was left with only a few hundred people. "President Zhou." Ningyu looked at Zhou Tong and said hesitantly. Zhou Tong was also from the Alchemy Union. If he chose to stay, Ningyu would naturally give him his full support. "Let's go. There's no need to stay." Zhou Tong was not an unreasonable person. Ningyu had already offended Peng Zhou to this extent. If he stayed, wouldn't he be asking for trouble? Perhaps leaving at this time was the best choice. In that case, let's go to Sikong Ling's place first. After a few rounds of competition in the alchemy competition, Ningyu faintly felt that he was on the verge of a breakthrough. In addition, he had offended Peng Zhou and Dan Qinzi. Based on their characters, they would definitely join forces with Situ Zhang and Zhao Mu to deal with him. Chapter 670. Life and Death Palm. Swoosh. Life and Death Palm. Swoosh. The elixir refining competition, jointly organized by the Alchemy Union and Danu College, ended quickly. Originally, everyone thought that the elixir refining competition would take at least a few days to end. Who would have thought that such a tight schedule would lead to the elixir refining competition ending in just one day, and the final three would be decided? Ningyu, Hangdong, Xie. These three martial artists would be the focus of discussion in the Great Xia Kingdom for a long time to come. Especially Ningyu. Not only did he become the fake holy son of Danu College, but he also won first place in the elixir refining competition. Most importantly, Ningyu actually refined a supreme grade 6 elemental blood dragon elixir, slapping Peng Zhou and Dan Qinzi in the face. Just imagine, with Dan Qinzi and Peng Zhou's character, they would definitely not let this matter rest. Swoosh! At the same time in the Great Xia Kingdom, in Sikong Ling's residence, a few martial artists stood side by side. You all saw it. During the elixir refining competition, Peng Zhou and Dan Qinzi already wanted to kill me. The first martial artist to speak was Ningyu. He paced back and forth in the room and said in a deep voice, "Peng Zhou and Dan Qinzi are only at the peak of Yinyang realm. I'm not afraid of them, but I'm afraid that the black evil old freak and Sidu Zhang will make a move." The black evil old freak? Li Tongtian raised his brows and asked doubtfully, "Didn't he say that he would leave the capital? Why would he make a move on us?" "It's not that simple. The black evil old freak will leave the capital on the surface, but he is definitely still in the capital. I embarrassed him during the elixir refining competition, and he will definitely seek revenge," Ningyu said after thinking for a while. "If that's the case, why don't we go to Dongwu College to hide? With my master, old ancestor Jiumo, Dongwu College will always be the safest place." Li Tongtian still couldn't figure out why Ningyu didn't go to Dongwu College to hide. With forefather Jiumo's status in Dongwu College, it was easy for him to protect Ningyu and the others. The safest place is the most dangerous place, and the most dangerous place is the safest place. Ningyu took a deep breath and said, "Forefather Jiumo told me before he left that Dongwu College isn't very safe right now." "What do you mean?" Li Tongtian asked. 80% of Dongwu College's higher-ups have gone to the Coiling Dragon Ridge. Only Patriarch Jiumo is left to hold the fort. Ningyu explained, If we go to Danwu College and lure the black, nefarious monster and the others to Danwu College, the consequences will be unimaginable. But Li Tongtian still felt that something was amiss. Logically speaking, Ningyu would not be so unreasonable. Wasn't staying here just to find opportunities for Peng Zhou and Dan Qinzi? Xikong Ling, bring them to the secret chamber. Without my permission, no one is allowed to leave before tomorrow morning. Ningyu interrupted Li Tongtian, his tone unquestionable. All right. Li Tongtian wanted to say something else, but seeing Ningyu's expression, he could only sigh and leave the room with Xikong Ling woof woof. Just as Ningyu reached the exit of the room, Furball scurried out of her arms and landed on Ningyu's shoulder. Furball, come back! Lu Jin hurriedly said when she saw Furball's actions. It's fine. Let Furball stay. Ningyu waved his hand, indicating that Lu Jin did not need to worry. Lu Jin had no choice but to reluctantly leave the room and disappear. Swish! Swish! After Lu Jin and the rest left, the Red Devil and the Dark Emperor rushed out of the storage ring. The Dark Emperor shouted as soon as he came out, Ningyu, you won so many supreme crystals this time. You have to give me at least a few million, right? F***CK. Ningyu's eyelids rolled, and he almost fainted. How could the Dark Emperor say something like that? His skin was as thick as a dog's. Don't talk so much. Both you and Hong Mo are at the early stage of Yin Yang realm. I have 6 million supreme origin crystals on me. Can you guys advance to the middle stage of Yin Yang realm before midnight tonight? Ningyu went straight to the point and didn't argue with the Dark Emperor. Whoosh! Hearing Ningyu's solemn words, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil fell into deep thought. After a while, the Dark Emperor said, If you give me 2 million supreme crystals, I have a 50% chance of advancing to the mid-stage Yin Yang realm. Then the Red Devil said, It might be difficult for me to advance further unless the Red Devil's sword can advance to the Monarch realm. That's troublesome. Ningyu fell into deep thought. The Red Devil and the Dark Emperor at the early stage Yin Yang realm had limited combat strength. They couldn't even contend against a pinnacle Yin Yang realm martial artist together. Dark Emperor, I'll give you 5 million supreme crystals. A moment later, Ningyu said in a deep voice, Before midnight tonight, do everything you can to break through to the mid-stage Yin Yang realm. Red Devil, I'll give you 1 million supreme crystals. Give it a try and see if the Red Devil's sword has a chance of advancing to the Monarch realm. With that, Ningyu flicked his sleeves, and 2 storage bags flew out. One flew into the Dark Emperor's hands, and the other was grabbed by the Red Devil. How stingy! So many supreme crystals, but you only gave me 5 million. The Dark Emperor checked the number of crystals in the storage bag and curled his lips. I'll find a place to devour these crystals. Contact me immediately if anything happens. Buzz, buzz! With that, the Dark Emperor burrowed into the void and disappeared. Ningyu, I'll go stand guard at the door. The Red Devil took the storage bag and left the room without even looking at it. Woof woof! After the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil left, Furball scratched Ningyu's hair with his little paw and pointed at the storage ring on Ningyu's wrist. You want supreme crystals too? Ningyu was puzzled. Woof woof! Furball nodded like a human. Seeing that, Ningyu took out another storage bag, which contained 100,000 supreme crystals. Swish! Seeing the storage bag in Ningyu's hand, Furball immediately leaped out and hugged the storage bag tightly with his little paw, his face full of enjoyment. It's dangerous here. You'd better stay in the storage ring. Ningyu smiled. With a thought, a beam of light rushed out from the storage ring, enveloped Furball and sucked it in. It's time for me to cultivate. After taking care of everything, Ningyu flicked his sleeve and took out the bloodthirsty sword. The bloodthirsty sword was something Ningyu had obtained from Guei. According to the Red Devil's detection, there were two arrays inside. One array contained a large amount of liquid yuan qi, and the other contained pure soul force. Using the liquid yuan qi, Ning Yu had advanced to the pinnacle of the primal core realm. Now, Ning Yu's goal was clear, and that was to use the pure soul force to increase his soul force to the 6th grade. As long as I can increase my soul force to the 6th grade, I can cultivate the 7th form of the netherworld, samsara palm. Feeling the dense soul force in the bloodthirsty sword, Ning Yu's expression turned serious. The 7th form of the netherworld samsara palm was called the life-death palm. It was extremely powerful. Chapter 671. Yin-Yang Realm. No, it's hard to break this formation. Although Ning Yu desperately wanted to increase his soul power to the 6th grade, he knew that the formation within the bloodthirsty sword was very difficult to break. At least, it would be very difficult for him to break it with his current peak, primal, core cultivation. Looks like I have to increase my cultivation to the early stage of Yin-Yang Realm before trying to break the formation. At this thought, Ning Yu immediately took out the remaining supreme grade essence crystals and began to use the spiritual technique to absorb the essence qi in the supreme grade essence crystals. Crack! About 10 minutes later, Ning Yu absorbed all the primordial energy in a piece of transcendent grade primordial crystal and shattered it. The speed is too slow. After the supreme grade essence crystal shattered, Ning Yu stopped absorbing the essence qi. I have to successfully cultivate the 5th stage of the spiritual technique. Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu let go of all distracting thoughts and recalled the cultivation method of the spiritual technique. The speed at which the 4th stage of the spiritual technique absorbed essence qi would not be able to support Ning Yu's breakthrough to the Yin-Yang realm in a few hours. Therefore, it was urgent for him to cultivate the spiritual technique to the 5th stage. The 5th stage of the spiritual technique was more difficult to cultivate. Even though Ning Yu had cultivated it in his previous life, he did not dare to let his guard down. Whoosh! As Ning Yu recalled the cultivation method of the spiritual technique, he waved his hands rhythmically. To Ning Yu's surprise, he didn't encounter too many obstacles when he cultivated the 5th level of the spirit transformation method this time. In half an hour, he had achieved initial success in cultivating the 5th stage of the spiritual technique. An hour later, phew! Ning Yu let out a long breath, his face full of disbelief. Ning Yu had never thought that the 5th stage of the spiritual technique could be cultivated so easily. One had to know that in his previous life, it took him a few days to cultivate the 5th stage of the spiritual technique. Whatever, let's absorb the essence first. At this time, Ning Yu temporarily gave up on the idea of finding out the truth. Instead, he took out 2 supreme grade origin crystals, held them in each hand, and began to absorb them using the transformation spirit art. Kacha! Kacha! This time, there was no need for 10 minutes, nor 5 minutes. Merely a minute had passed, and the transcendent grade crystals in Ning Yu's palms had completely shattered. Ka. Following that, Ning Yu circulated the spirit transformation art and continuously absorbed the essence qi within the supreme grade essence crystals. As time went on, Ning Yu became more and more proficient, and the speed at which he absorbed the essence qi became faster and faster. Bang! Half an hour later, a muffled sound suddenly came from Ning Yu's sea of consciousness. Hearing this muffled sound, Ning Yu's face lit up with joy. He hurriedly sent a portion of his soul force into his sea of consciousness, controlling all of his yuan qi to enter one of the golden cores. There were a total of 7 golden cores in Ning Yu's sea of consciousness. Ning Yu was very clear that if he wanted to break through the limit and advance to the Yin-Yang realm, he had to combine the 7 golden cores into one. When he was in the true martial realm, Ning Yu had many phantom golden dawn in his sea of consciousness. When he was in the Yuan Dan realm, the number of golden dawn in his sea of consciousness was somewhat reduced, but it was still no less than 7. At the peak of the primal core stage, there would be 7 golden cores in the sea of consciousness. This meant that after entering the yin-yang stage, one's strength would be 7 times stronger than an ordinary yin-yang stage warrior. In other words, once Ningyu advanced to the initial yin-yang stage, his strength would be equivalent to the combined strength of 7 yin-yang stage martial artists. Bang, bang, bang. An hour later, another 3 muffled sounds came from Ningyu's sea of consciousness. This time, Ningyu was not too shocked. Instead, he concentrated on absorbing the essence energy inside the transcendent grade essence crystal. Bang, bang, bang. Another hour later, when the remaining 3 muffled sounds came out, Ningyu flew into the air with a swoosh. His peak 5th grade soul force poured out, and together with the 5th level of the spirit transformation technique, he frantically absorbed the essence energy inside the transcendent grade essence crystal. Crack! Just when Ningyu was absorbing the essence energy with all his might, a crisp sound rang out. Then Ningyu saw that one of the golden cores in his sea of consciousness had completely shattered. Crack! Crack! Before Ningyu could react to the shattering of this golden core, he discovered that the remaining 6 golden cores had also shattered. Damn it! Reassemble! The sudden change caused Ningyu's expression to change drastically. Even beads of sweat continuously dripped from his forehead. Originally, in Ningyu's expectation, it was impossible for the 7 golden cores to completely shatter so quickly. He was not ready to reassemble the golden cores. But now that the matter was pressing, he had to carefully reassemble the golden cores. Buzz! Fortunately, Ningyu's soul force had reached the peak of 5th grade. Otherwise, if the 7 golden cores shattered at the same time, Ningyu would definitely be finished. After all, when Ningyu advanced to the yin-yang realm in his previous life, everything was prepared, and the golden cores did not shatter so quickly. When reassembling the golden cores, Ningyu did not dare to be careless and was very careful, because if he was not careful, he would be smashed into pieces, and his life would be over. Drip, drip. Ningyu concentrated on reassembling the shattered golden cores. The beads of sweat on his forehead continuously dripped to the ground, making dripping sounds. Rumble. Time passed quietly under Ningyu's full concentration. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. When the 3rd hour arrived, a rumbling sound came from Ningyu's sea of consciousness, directly shaking Ningyu far away. Swoosh! Then a monstrous aura emitted from Ningyu's body, shooting straight into the sky. What's going on? Looking at the direction, it seems to be coming from that luxurious palace. That luxurious palace is the residence of the black market's young master, Si Kongling. Could it be that Si Kongling has broken through to the yin-yang realm? A martial artist who knew Si Kongling's identity frowned. That can't be. During the day, Si Kongling was only in the middle stage of Yuandan. It doesn't make sense that he has advanced to the yin-yang realm in just a few hours. Who cares? Anyway, this matter has nothing to do with us. Let's not interfere. Tomorrow morning, there will definitely be some news. Yes, yes. It's already so late. Let's hurry back and not wander around here. Buzz! Just as everyone was exclaiming about the terrifying aura coming from Si Kongling's residence, 2 martial artists quietly appeared the corner on the other side. If Ningyu was here, he would definitely notice that he was familiar with these 2 martial artists. The peak of the yin-yang realm, the Situ clan head, and the half-step manifestation realm, Situ Zheng. Patriarch, should we go in directly and capture Ningyu alive? The Situ clan head frowned as he looked in the direction of the terrifying aura. There's no hurry. I don't really believe what Peng Zhou said. Situ Zheng was very smart. After the alchemy competition, Peng Zhou told him that Situ Wen's disappearance was related to Ningyu. At that time, Situ Zheng had some doubts. Now, that he sensed the weak aura coming from the void not far away. He was even more certain that there was something fishy about it. Chapter 672. Rank. 672 6th grade. Believe? There's something you might not know. Situ Zheng's expression was solemn as he said in a deep voice, "My spy in regional King City sent back news an hour ago saying that Zhao Mu, that old fart, has already started planning to attack our Situ family. We can't just sit here and wait for death." "What?" Situ Lei almost jumped up when he heard that, and a chill ran down his spine. As the Situ family's patriarch, he did not know such an important matter. Once the Zhao family of regional King City attacked them, the consequences would be unimaginable. "Patriarch, why don't we return to Great Hill Royal City?" Situ Lei said hurriedly. "Don't worry." Situ Zhang waved his hand and said, "My spy has already informed the family's Grand Elder. I believe the Grand Elder must be ready by now." That's good, that's good." Situ Lei let out a long sigh. If the family was attacked by the Zhao family of regional King City at this time, there was an 80% chance that they would fall. After all, the Zhao family's patriarch did not come, but he came to the capital. In a battle between two powerful families, a martial artist at the peak of Yinyang realm could even decide the final outcome. "Let's wait a little longer. We'll attack at midnight," Situ Zhang said. "Patriarch, if we attack like this, will Danwu College's Patriarch Gomo?" Situ Lei hesitated. "Don't worry. I've received reliable news that Patriarch Gomo has already brought the remaining powerhouses of Danwu College to Coiling Dragon Ridge." Situ Zhang interrupted Situ Lei and said calmly, "Act calm and pretend that you don't know about Zhao Mu's schemes. We'll capture Ningyu alive later, then bring him outside the capital and use him to get rid of Zhao Mu. Patriarch Gomo has left the capital, but the Black Widow is still in the capital," Situ Lei said worriedly. "Hee, the Black Widow is nothing to be afraid of." Situ Zhang smiled mysteriously and said no more. Swoosh! Just as Situ Zhang and the rest were talking, a few martial artists were hiding in the void not far away. One of the martial artists said with a slightly solemn expression, "Patriarch Zhao, why aren't Situ Zhang and the rest attacking? Don't tell me they've discovered us." "It doesn't matter whether Situ Zhang noticed us or not. What's important is that today is the day they die," Zhao Mu gloomily said. Although old ancestor Gomo has left the capital with the experts from Danwu College, he still has a backup plan. The Black Widow from the black market will definitely appear to help Ningyu. The Black Widow's strength is not to be underestimated. Unless the black diabolical monster personally makes a move, Situ Zhang will be severely injured or even killed. Zhao Mu continued, "Not long ago, I saw the black evil monster leaving the capital with my own eyes. What we need to do now is to wait here quietly." When Situ Zhang escapes with severe injuries, we'll immediately attack and kill them. Zhao family head really has a good plan. Dan Chenzi gave a thumbs up and said, "As long as we can deal with Situ Zhang and Situ Lei, then the Great Hill Royal City's Situ clan will collapse by itself. By then, the Realm King City's Zhao clan will be able to annex the Great Hill Royal City and become the second largest city in the Great Xia Kingdom that is only inferior to the capital. It's still too early to think about this. Oh no, be careful." Hearing Dan Chenzi's words, Zhao Mu's lips curled up. However, before he could finish his sentence, his expression changed drastically as he hurriedly said, "Swoosh!" As Zhao Mu's voice was heard, a figure tore through the void and landed in the courtyard where Xikong Ling was at an extremely shocking speed. Gasp! This figure was none other than the Black Widow from the black market. As soon as she landed in the courtyard, she immediately sensed a powerful aura coming from the room in front of her. "I didn't expect that Ningyu has already advanced to the early stage Yinyang realm in just a few hours." The Black Widow first glanced at the other rooms before walking towards the room where Ningyu was at. "Phew! As the Black Widow walked towards the room, Ningyu let out a long sigh of relief with a hint of excitement on his face. I've finally mastered the life and death palm. Now, let's see how powerful it is. After advancing to the Yin-Yang realm, Ningyu immediately broke the array within the bloodthirsty sword and frantically absorbed the pure soul power within the array. Very quickly, Ningyu completely absorbed the pure soul power. Without a doubt, Ningyu's soul power had risen to the 6th grade level. Now that his soul power had reached the 6th grade level, Ningyu naturally began to practice the 7th form of the Netherworld Samsara Palm, the Life and Death Palm. Practicing the Life and Death Palm was surprisingly easy. In just an hour, Ningyu had successfully mastered the Life and Death Palm. Just as Ningyu had successfully mastered the Life and Death Palm, he discovered that a half-step manifestation stage practitioner had appeared in the courtyard. Since that was the case, Ningyu decided to test the power of the Life and Death Palm. In the next instant, Ningyu's eyes narrowed as the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness gushed out and gathered on his wrist along with the early stage 6th grade soul power. His palm brought with it a violent Yuan Qi and a soul wind as he ruthlessly struck out. Not good. Just as the Black Widow arrived at the door, her expression changed slightly as she hurriedly retreated. This was because the Black Widow discovered that a giant palm had rushed out of the room and even the door had been smashed to pieces. Grasping flower palm. At this critical moment, the Black Widow's eyes narrowed slightly as she waved her right hand. A palm similar to a butterfly flower appeared and collided with the palm that had come out of the room. Crack! The two palm prints collided with each other, and a crisp cracking sound rang out. Swoosh! Swoosh! Hearing this cracking sound, two figures suddenly dashed out from two different directions. After these two figures appeared, without a word, they immediately launched a powerful attack at the Black Widow. Faced with the two figures that had suddenly attacked her, the Black Widow's expression was slightly solemn as she hurriedly sent out two palm prints. Rumble! The palm prints dissipated and the two figures' original appearances were revealed. Dark Emperor, Red Devil. Looking at the two familiar figures, Ningyu took a step forward and appeared beside them. He said in surprise, "You guys have advanced to the middle stage Yin-Yang realm? It's all thanks to your transcendent grade Yuan crystal," the Dark Emperor and Red Devil said in unison. Ningyu did not find it strange that the Dark Emperor had advanced to the middle stage Yin-Yang realm. However, Ningyu was a little puzzled that the Red Devil had advanced to the middle stage Yin-Yang realm. After all, the Red Devil relied on the Red Devil's sword to advance. No. Thinking of this, Ningyu's mouth opened slightly and he hurriedly said, "The Red Devil's sword advanced!" The Red Devil's answer made Ningyu a little disappointed. No, it's just a breakthrough. Since the Black Widow was here, the Red Devil did not explain too much to Ningyu. Haha, Ningyu, you really gave me a big surprise. At this moment, the Black Widow smiled and said, "I originally thought that you would encounter danger, but now it seems that I was overthinking. If the three of you join forces, you can even fight against a half-step manifestation realm martial artist. Is that so?" Chapter 673. Attack, who is it? The voice that suddenly sounded caused the Black Widow's expression to change slightly as she asked in a deep voice. Buzz. In the next moment, a crack appeared in the space of this area, and a cultivator slowly walked out of the void. Hee hee, Black Widow, it's only been a few hours and you can't even recognize my voice. How disappointing. After this martial artist appeared, he first looked at Ningyu. Then his gaze fell on the Black Widow. He smiled faintly and said, "I only have one goal today, and that is to take Ningyu away." Black evil monster. Seeing the true face of the martial artist in front of her, Black Widow's heart sank to the bottom. Didn't the black evil old monster leave the capital? Why is he still here? Strange, isn't it? Old monster Black Nefarious seemed to guess what Black Widow was thinking. He shrugged his shoulders and said, "The cultivator who left the capital was only my substitute. I didn't think that old ancestor Gomo would be so easily deceived." Substitute. Black Widow's heart skipped a beat. She had a bad feeling about this. Old ancestor Gomo had told him that old freak Heisia had already left the capital. She was here to protect Ningyu and only needed to guard against Zhao Mu and Sidu Zhang. Who would have thought that old monster Black Nefarious would suddenly turn around? "Ningyu, I'll stop old monster Black Evil later. You guys go first." Now that things had come to this, Black Widow could only choose to fight head-on with old monster Black Nefarious and let Ningyu and the others leave first. Leave? Will they be able to leave? Before Ningyu could say anything, a disdainful voice sounded from nearby. Whoosh! Whoosh! Then, two figures flew past and landed steadily in the courtyard. "It's you." Looking at the two cultivators who had suddenly appeared, Ningyu said in a deep voice, "I knew you were up to no good." "You can't say that. It's not that we don't have good intentions. We just suspect that you are related to Situ, Wen's disappearance." Situ Zhang said, "If you obediently follow us back to Defu Imperial City, you might be able to keep your life. However, if you are stubborn, then even De Luo Jin Xian can't save you." "Old ancestor, why are you talking nonsense with him? I'll take him down first." Beside him, Situ Lei let out a low growl and immediately leaped up. His fists brought along a powerful Yuan Qi gale as they ruthlessly smashed towards Ningyu's face. Because he was afraid of killing Ningyu, Situ Lei did not use his full strength in this attack. He only used 50% of his strength. "Brat, you can only blame Situ Wen's disappearance for being related to you. You, not good." Situ Lei approached Ningyu as he spoke sinisterly. However, before he could finish his sinister words, his expression changed drastically, and he hastily retreated. However, the speed at which he retreated was clearly a little slower. Just as he took 2 steps back, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil seized the opportunity and struck his face from the left and right respectively. "Papa!" 2 crisp sounds rang out in the area. "I was actually beaten by a dog." After stabilizing his body, Situ Lei covered his slightly swollen face and said angrily, "I originally planned to let you live, but now I've changed my mind. I want to cut you into 8 pieces. Humph! It's your honor to hit you. It's your good fortune that you've cultivated for 8 lifetimes." The Dark Emperor snorted coldly, deliberately angering Situ Lei. "You!" After being choked by a dog, Situ Lei immediately wanted to get back at him and kill the Dark Emperor. Enough! However, just as Situ Lei was about to say something, the black evil monster waved his hand and interrupted him. "There's no need to lower yourself to the same level as a dog. You and Sidu Zhang, kill everyone apart from Ningyu." The black evil monster was a half-step manifestation realm martial artist, and his strength was incomparably powerful. Not only did Situ Lei not dare to disobey his words, even Situ Zhang did not dare to be negligent. "Situ Lei, go and dig out the people who are hiding and kill them all." "Don't show any mercy," Situ Zhang ordered. "As for Ningyu and these 2 fellows, leave them to me." "Understood." Situ Lei glared at the Dark Emperor and Ningyu before rising from the ground and charging towards the secret room where Xikong Ling and the rest were. "Damn it! Dark Emperor, how confident are you that you can stop Situ? F***CK. Seeing Situ Lei's actions, Ningyu cursed inwardly and hurriedly ordered the Dark Emperor. However, just as Ningyu was about to speak, he realized that the Dark Emperor had already made his move and was charging towards Situ Lei. The Dark Emperor's understanding made Ningyu very gratified. "Hong Mo, let us meet a half-step manifestation realm martial artist today." Ignoring the battle between the Dark Emperor and Situ Lei, Ningyu turned around to look at Situ Zhang and said in a deep voice, "If the 2 of us join forces, we might be able to fight against a half-step manifestation realm martial artist." Ha ha ha, with just the two of you trash? Situ Zheng seemed to have heard a very funny joke. He threw his head back and laughed maniacally. Soon after, he scolded, "Today I will let you know what a half-step manifestation realm martial artist is." Rumble. As soon as Situ Zheng finished reprimanding, Ningyu noticed that the space in front of him was trembling. Immediately after, a figure appeared from within. Life and Death Palm. At the crucial moment, Ningyu hurriedly summoned the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness. His fist brought along a violent Yuan Qi gale as it collided with Situ Zheng's fist. When the two fists collided, nothing earth-shattering happened. There were only two figures rapidly retreating. Whoosh! As far as the eye could see, Ningyu was forced back a dozen steps before he stabilized his body. In contrast, Situ Zheng had only taken 3 to 4 steps back. Through this exchange, it was enough to show that there was still some gap between Ningyu and Situ Zheng. "Situ Zheng, what are you doing? We don't have much time. Hurry up and take them down. Do you want me to personally take action?" When he saw that Situ Zheng had failed to defeat Ningyu in a single move, Old Freak Black Nefarious coldly said, "Patriarch Joamo will return at any time. If we don't capture Ningyu today, we won't have another chance in the future. I was too careless just now." After he steadied himself, Situ Zheng rubbed his slightly aching wrist. The aura of a half-step to blessed stage surged out of his body and pressed down on Ningyu. Situ Zheng might accidentally kill Ningyu with brute force, but his aura was enough to subdue Ningyu. Not good. When she felt the powerful aura from Situ Zheng's body, Black Widow's eyes widened. She hurriedly released her own aura in an attempt to block it for Ningyu. "Hee, Black Widow, if you make a move, I won't hold back anymore." Old Freak Black Nefarious smiled sinisterly as he said in an indifferent tone, "Who do you think you are to say you won't hold back?" As she watched Situ Zheng approach Ningyu, Black Widow bit her lips. A powerful aura erupted from her body as she charged at Situ Zheng. "It's been 2 years since I killed a half-step manifestation realm martial artist. I really missed that feeling. Fortunately, you gave me a chance." Chapter 674. Eye of Blood. It's still too early to say who's going to die. The Black Widow growled as she turned around and launched a powerful attack at Old Freak Black Nefarious. She did not hold back at all. Old Freak Black Nefarious was not worried at all as he watched the Black Widow approach him. Instead, he appeared very calm. Sky-breaking palm. Although Old Freak Black Nefarious looked calm on the surface, his heart was extremely solemn. During the alchemy competition, the Black Widow had easily subdued the half-step manifestation stage Zhao, Mu, and Situ Zheng. This strength was indeed somewhat terrifying. Old Freak Black Nefarious knew that although he could also subdue Zhao Mu and Situ Zheng, it would not be as easy as the Black Widow. Martial artists who could cultivate to the half-step manifestation realm were not idiots. Old Freak Black Nefarious would not risk his life against the Black Widow. What he needed to do was to stop the Black Widow and buy enough time for Situ Zheng. Rumble. The Black Widow did not think so. Her goal was very clear. She must protect Ningyu. In the next instant, the Black Widow's Yuan energy light wave collided with Old Freak Black Nefarious sky-breaking palm. A rumbling sound rang out as the palm and Yuan energy light wave dissipated between heaven and earth. Swish! Swish! After the first strike, the Black Widow did not say anything and once again launched a powerful attack. Mad Dog! Old Freak Black Nefarious did not plan to risk his life against the Black Widow. At this moment, he was fighting a guerrilla battle. The Black Widow and Old Freak Black Nefarious were both half-step manifestation stage martial artists. The difference in strength was not too big, so it would be difficult to determine the victor in a short period of time. On the other side of the battlefield, it was different. Ning Yu's cultivation was only at the initial yin-yang stage, while the Hong Mo was only at the middle yin-yang stage. Logically speaking, if a yin-yang stage initial and a yin-yang stage middle stage martial artist work together, they would not be a match for a half-step manifestation stage martial artist. However, the truth was that Ning Yu and the Hong Mo had worked together to forcefully block Situ Zheng's powerful attack. Damn it! Situ Zheng's expression became more and more unsightly as his attacks were blocked one after another. He was extremely gloomy. Situ Zheng originally thought that he could easily subdue Ning Yu and the Red Devil with his half-step manifestation realm cultivation base. Unexpectedly, Ning Yu and the Red Fiend were so powerful. Hong Mo, I'll stop Situ Zheng. You and the Dark Emperor take care of Situ Lei first. Ning Yu turned to look at the Dark Emperor and Situ Lei, who were evenly matched, and bellowed, 3 minutes. I can only block Situ Zheng for 3 minutes at most. The Red Demon Sword is yours. The Red Devil was not an indecisive person. He immediately threw the Red Devil's sword to Ning Yu and rushed out, instantly appearing beside the Dark Emperor. Ha ha ha, Redskin, you came at the right time. With the two of us working together, we will definitely be able to easily kill this old fellow. Seeing the Red Devil coming over, the Dark Emperor laughed. I'm an old guy. Situ Lei's eyes widened and his face was filled with anger. Today I will let you know, noisy. The Red Devil knew that Ning Yu would not be able to hold on for long, so he did not waste his breath with Situ Lei. He immediately executed his most powerful attack and blasted it towards Situ Lei. Seeing the Red Devil's actions, the Dark Emperor's eyes narrowed. In an instant, 2 cold glints shot out from his eyes as he cooperated with the Red Devil to fight with Situ Lei. Ning Yu, I want to see how arrogant you can be after losing a helper. Seeing the Red Devil leave, Situ Zheng sneered and said sinisterly, the Yuan Qi in your body is extremely dense. Today, I will compete with you and see who has the strongest Yuan Qi in their body. Sky Dominating Palm. Situ Zheng grabbed at the air with both hands, and an extremely dense Yuan Qi appeared on his wrists. Rumble. As Situ Zheng pushed out with his right hand, a shocking palm print separated from his palm. Hiss. When Ning Yu sensed the violent primordial energy contained in Situ Zheng's palm print, he did not dare to be careless. He hurriedly summoned all the primordial energy in his body and wrapped it around his palm. Then he threw out an equally violent palm print. Life and Death Palm. Ning Yu let out a deep roar as the blood-red palm print flew out and collided with Situ Zheng's Sky Dominating Palm. Whoosh! Without a doubt, a miracle did not happen. As soon as Ning Yu's Life and Death Palm came into contact with Situ Zheng's Sky Dominating Palm, it shattered and dissipated between the heavens and earth. After the Life and Death Palm was destroyed, Situ Zheng's Sky Dominating Palm did not slow down at all. It soon appeared in front of Ning Yu. Solitaire. Looking at the violent palm print that was inches away from him, Ning Yu naturally would not sit and wait for death. Unknowingly, the Red Devil Sword had already appeared in Ning Yu's hand. At the critical moment, Ning Yu executed the 6th style of the Supreme 9 Pure One's sword art, Solitaire. Ning Yu had already cultivated the Solitaire style to the ultimate realm. In the past, due to his low cultivation, he could not unleash its full power. Now that Ning Yu had advanced to the early stage Yin-Yang realm, coupled with the Red Devil Sword that had recovered a lot, the power of the sword wave that he slashed out was at least several times stronger. Crack! The powerful sword wave collided with the Sky Dominating Palm in front of Situ Zheng's horrified eyes. When the sword wave collided with the palm print, a cracking sound could be heard. Without any suspense, the palm print dissipated, and the sword wave turned into an afterimage that rushed towards Situ Zheng. F***CK. The sudden change was something that Situ Zheng had not expected. If he could not take down Ning Yu earlier because he had the help of the Red Devil, Then now that Ningyu was the only one left, he had no reason to shirk the responsibility. Embarrassing. It was extremely shameful. You forced me to do this. Situ Zhang took a deep breath, and his eyes turned blood red. Blood red eyes. Oh no, it's the blood transformation eye. When Ningyu first saw Situ Zhang's blood red eyes, he did not think much of it. However, as Situ Zhang's eyes continued to turn red and emit a terrifying aura, Ningyu was finally moved. Blood transformation eye. There were many eyes in the boundless world, and the eyes of the evil eye were like the evil eye. However, the evil eye paled in comparison to the blood eye. They couldn't even be mentioned in the same breath. The most special thing about the blood transformation eye was that after going berserk, the martial artist's strength would increase by a level. For example, once Situ Zhang used the blood eyes, his strength would increase, and he could even reach the level of old monster, Black Nefarious. I have to stop Situ Zhang from using the blood transformation eye. Ningyu shouted and took out all the flying swords on him, including the bloodthirsty sword and the soul-chasing sword. 9 in one sword formation. Ningyu did not waste any time. He used the red devil sword as the eye of the formation, the bloodthirsty sword and the soul-chasing sword on both sides, and the rest of the black grade and heaven grade flying swords flew out. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In order to stop Situ Zhang, Ningyu even let Lung Mian, the evil eye, and the others out of his storage ring to attack with him. Time was running out. If he could stop Situ Zhang from using the blood transformation eye, there was still a chance of survival. Chapter 675. The tree shows its might. Ningyu, I advise you to stop wasting your time. If you surrender now, I can consider sparing your life. After his eyes turned blood red, Situ Zhang did not take Ningyu's actions seriously at all. This was because from the moment Situ Zhang's eyes turned red, his strength was increasing at every moment. In just a few dozen seconds, Situ Zhang's strength had increased by at least 30%, if not more. Go! Ningyu let out a low roar and threw the red demon sword in the air. Situ Zhang wanted him to surrender? What a joke! He did not know how Situ Zhang managed to cultivate to the half-step creation realm. He could even say such idiotic words. Whoosh! As Ningyu let out a low roar, dozens of flying swords formed a small sword formation and slashed at Situ Zhang. The red demon sword was the eye of the formation, while the bloodthirsty sword and soul-chasing sword held the line from the left and right. Child's play. Situ Zhang's lips curled up into a smile when he saw the countless flying swords coming at him. Then several cold rays shot out from his eyes and collided with the flying swords. Ding! 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 Countless crisp sounds rang out. All the flying swords that Ningyu had thrown out were hit by the cold rays and fell to the ground. At the same time, a cold ray containing violent energy shot out from the corner of Situ Zhang's eyes and attacked Ningyu at an astonishing speed. Hold on. At the critical moment, Ningyu hurriedly controlled the 3 flying swords to return the way they came and blocked in front of him. Whoosh! Who would have thought that as soon as the 3 flying swords returned, the cold ray that shot out from the corner of Situ Zhang's eyes would split into 3 and come into close contact with the 3 flying swords. Bang! 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 3 consecutive sounds rang out. The soul-chasing sword and the bloodthirsty sword failed to block the cold ray and fell to the ground like the dozens of flying swords before them. As for the red demon sword, since it was a Peak King level flying sword, it managed to block the cold ray. Hee, to be able to block my cold light, it seems like the grade of your flying sword is not low. The corner of Situ Zhang's eyes fell on the red demon sword in Ningyu's hand. He raised his eyebrows and said with a smile, hand over the flying sword, I forget it, I'll take it myself. As he spoke, Situ Zhang tore the void with both hands and dived into it. In the blink of an eye, Situ Zhang appeared beside Ningyu. Situ Zhang grabbed the red demon's sword with his left hand and grabbed Ning Yu's neck with his right. In order to completely control Ning Yu, Situ Zhang did not hold back this time. He used 100% of his strength in order to kill Ning Yu with one strike. Let's bet. Just as Situ Zhang was about to reach him, Ning Yu's heart jolted as he hurriedly pulled out the branch of the world tree from his storage ring and placed it in his sleeve. The branch of the world tree was extremely terrifying. The reason why Ning Yu was able to kill Zhang Shan and Yan Fu was mainly because the branch of the world tree had blocked Yan Fu's blessed realm aura. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for Ning Yu and the red demon to defeat Yan Fu and Zhang Shan. Not far away, the Dark Emperor and the red demon would need at least a minute to defeat Sita Lei. Therefore, Ning Yu had to hold on for another minute no matter what. But holding on for a minute was easier said than done. At this moment, Ning Yu had no other choice but to rely on the branch of the world tree and take a gamble. Ning Yu, don't worry. I won't kill you because you're still useful to me. When Situ Zhang was a meter away from Ning Yu, he said sinisterly, I'll cripple your cultivation first and then bring you back to Great Hill Royal City. What a waste of time. The more dangerous the situation was, the calmer Ning Yu appeared. There was even a smile on his face. Situ Zhang's heart skipped a beat when he saw the smile on Ning Yu's face. He had a bad feeling about this. What a farce! If he was fighting with a half-step, blessed realm martial artist, Situ Zhang would definitely choose to retreat. However, Ning Yu's cultivation was only at the early stage Yin-Yang realm. He felt that no matter how strong Ning Yu was, he could not be that strong. Therefore, Situ Zhang sped up again and appeared in front of Ning Yu in an instant. Situ Zhang grabbed the red demon's sword with his left hand and clenched his right hand into a fist, punching toward Ning Yu's chest. This is my chance. Ning Yu naturally would not miss such a good opportunity. Just when Situ Zhang's right hand was about to hit his chest, Ning Yu swung his sleeve, and the branch of the world tree blocked in front of his chest. You want to stop me with a stupid branch? You must be dreaming. Situ Zhang did not care about the branch in front of Ning Yu's chest. He increased his strength and punched the branch of the world tree. Crack! In the next instant, a crisp sound was heard. However, it was not the sound of the branch of the world tree breaking, but the sound of Situ Zhang's right finger breaking. Along with the sound of the finger breaking, Situ Zhang screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Swoosh! After the scream, Situ Zhang immediately retreated. He did not dare to stay any longer. Trying to leave? It's not that easy. How could Ning Yu allow Situ Zhang to retreat? This might be the best opportunity to kill Situ Zhang. If he missed this opportunity, he would not get another one. When his right hand collided with the branch of the world tree, Situ Zhang's aura dropped temporarily. To be precise, in the next minute, Situ Zhang could only unleash the strength of a peak Yin-Yang realm. Ning Yu was definitely not a match for Situ Zhang, who was at the half-step blessed realm. However, Ning Yu had a 50% chance of killing Situ Zhang, who was at the peak Yin-Yang realm. Solitaire. In order to kill Situ Zhang with a single strike, Ning Yu did not hold back. All the Yuan energy in his sea of consciousness surged out and entered the red demon sword. Ning Yu did not dare to waste any time. As he slashed out Solitaire, he wrapped the indigo spiritual fire and early stage grade 6 soul power around his wrist and sent out a shocking palm print. Life and Death Palm. The Life and Death Palm was the 7th form of the netherworld Samsara Palm. In terms of power, it was not weaker than Solitaire. It's not that easy to kill me. Although his strength had dropped to the peak Yin-Yang realm, Situ Zhang was not worried at all. Instead, he snorted and said, I'll let you know that even if I can only unleash the strength of a peak Yin-Yang realm, killing you is as easy as killing a lamb. Is that so? As soon as Situ Zhang finished speaking, 2 voices rang out beside his ears. When he heard the two familiar voices, despair appeared on Situ Zheng's face. It was obvious that the arrival of the Dark Emperor and the Red Demon Sword meant that Situ Lei was likely to be killed. Hiss! As expected, Situ Zheng turned his head and saw Situ Lei lying on the ground. His aura had dropped to a freezing point. Black, evil monster, save me. Situ Zheng was a flexible person. If it was just Ningyu alone, he could still hold on for a minute. But now, there were 3 powerful people. No, it should be 2 people and a black dog. Damn it. Chapter 676. Black, evil clone, trash. What a bunch of trash. They can't do anything right. Old freak Black Evil forced Black Widow back before tearing through the void and appearing in front of Situ Zheng. Heaven-breaking palm. Old freak Black Evil bellowed. As he moved his hands, 2 powerful palm imprints appeared in the air. The palm imprint from his left hand flew toward Solitaire. The palm imprint from his right hand collided with Ning Yu's palm of life and death. Chi. Old freak Black Evil was much stronger than Situ Zheng, so he easily blocked Ningyu's fatal attack. Kill him. Old freak Black Evil, kill Ningyu now. Situ Zheng seemed to have grabbed onto a life-saving straw when he saw Old freak Black Evil. He shouted. Ningyu has a small branch in his hand. I suspect that branch is... Situ Zheng did not say the last few words out loud. Instead, he used a spiritual voice transmission to tell Old freak Black Evil. Hiss! Old freak Black Evil sucked in a breath of cold air when he heard Situ Zheng's words. Old freak Black Evil looked at Ningyu with excitement in his eyes. Ningyu, you're still too inexperienced. In this world, there are some treasures that you can't let others know about. Swoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, Old Monster Black Evil rose from the ground and gathered all the essence in his body on his wrist. Then he threw a punch that brought along a monstrous essence wind and punched at Ningyu's head. Old freak Black Evil was stronger than Situ Zheng at his peak. Now that he did not hold back, if Ningyu was unlucky enough to be hit, he would definitely die on the spot. How the F***CK am I inexperienced? If I didn't expose the branch of the world tree, I would have been killed by Situ Zheng. How could I still be alive now? Ningyu's face was extremely gloomy as he looked at the approaching Old Monster Black Nefarious. Dark Emperor, Red Devil, hurry up and kill Situ Zheng. Ningyu gritted his teeth and shouted, Remember, you only have 1 minute. 1 minute? As Old Freak Black Nefarious flew towards Ningyu, he sneered, I only need 3 seconds to kill you. 3 seconds? Old Monster Black Evil, it seems like you don't put me in your eyes. Black Widow was completely aware of Old Monster Black Nefarious actions. The reason why Black Widow did not help Ningyu immediately was because she was preparing her trump card against a powerful martial artist like Old Monster Black Nefarious. Black Widow did not have absolute confidence in winning. Black Widow, wait until I'm done with Ningyu. Then I'll come back to settle the score with you. Old Monster Black Nefarious scolded. Then his body gradually became illusory. Buzz! In the next moment, Old Monster Black Nefarious body split into 2. One rushed towards Ningyu, while the other attacked Black Widow. Not good. It's a doppelganger technique. Horror dawned on the Black Widow when she sensed the powerful aura emanating from the 2 black, wicked old monsters. The 2 black, wicked old monsters in front of her had the same aura, but their strength was slightly lower. Although their strength was lower, it was still very easy for them to block Black Widow. I have to block Old Monster Black Nefarious attack. Ningyu turned his head to look at Black Widow, who was fighting with Old Monster Black Nefarious other doppelganger. Black Widow was fighting with Old Monster Black Nefarious doppelganger, so she could not help Ningyu in a short period of time. Therefore, Ning Yu could only rely on his own strength to block old monster Black Nefarious. Ning Yu, I'll help you. Me too. Just when Ning Yu was feeling a little troubled, the Dark Emperor and Red Devil gave up on killing Sida Zhang and turned to help him. Whoosh! The Dark Emperor's speed was very fast. As he flew through the air, his body gradually became bigger, revealing his true form. What? It's actually the purple-gold sky-devouring dog. The Dark Emperor's true form caused old monster Black Nefarious to be momentarily stunned. In a fight between experts, even 1 second of distraction could determine victory or defeat. It was obvious that while old monster Black Nefarious was stunned, Red Devil had turned into a shadow and merged with the Red Devil sword. Go! Ning Yu seized this rare opportunity. He gripped the Red Demon's sword tightly with both hands and stabbed it directly at the Black Nefarious monster's heart. After all, old monster Black Nefarious was a half-step manifestation realm martial artist. After being stunned for a moment, he quickly reacted. If I'm hit by your flying sword, how am I going to survive in the Great Xia Kingdom and the Heavenly Demon region? Old monster Black Nefarious laughed sinisterly. To tell you the truth, today I want the World Tree's branch, the Soul Wood, and the flying sword in your hand. Woof woof! However, before old monster Black Nefarious could finish his words, he heard a dog bark. Swoosh! In the next second, a white ball shot out from Ning Yu's storage ring and charged at old monster Black Nefarious at an unbelievable speed. Whoosh! Not only was the white ball fast, but its attack was also exceptionally sharp. Its furry little claws directly slashed across old monster Black Nefarious' chest. Accompanied by a piercing sound, a blood-colored mark appeared on old monster Black Nefarious' chest. Ah! The moment the blood-colored mark appeared, old monster Black Nefarious let out a hysterical scream. Go to hell! Old monster Black Nefarious raised his arm and swept it at the white ball. Furball! Seeing old monster Black Nefarious' actions, Ning Yu shouted, Dodge quickly! Woof woof! Furball barked at Ning Yu like a human, then closed its eyes as if it had used up all its strength. Bang! Furball's action of closing its eyes meant that it had lost the ability to resist. Unsurprisingly, Furball was swept by old monster Black Nefarious' arm, and its body was like a kite with its string cut, flying into the distance. Furball's pitiful state completely enraged the Dark Emperor. The purplish gold wings on the Dark Emperor's back flapped rapidly, and in a few leaps he arrived before old monster Black Nefarious, and a pair of front claws once again clawed at old monster Black Nefarious' chest. Scram! Old monster Black Nefarious was indeed not weak. Even after being clawed by Furball's full strength, he still seemed completely fine. Cursing inwardly, old monster Black Nefarious punched out again, and it landed precisely on the Dark Emperor's back. Bang! A starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Although the Dark Emperor was already very strong, he was still powerless before old monster Black Nefarious. As expected, the Dark Emperor's back was struck by old monster Black Nefarious' fist, and his body fell backward. Ha ha ha! A purplish gold sky-devouring hound that hasn't matured yet. I can crush it with one hand. After knocking the Dark Emperor back, old monster Black Nefarious laughed maniacally. Poochie! However, just as old monster Black Nefarious laughed, his eyes widened, and his face was filled with disbelief. Then old monster Black Nefarious lowered his head to look at the blood-red flying sword in his chest. His mouth opened slightly, and he pointed at Ning Yu. You! Old monster Black Nefarious wanted to say something, but before he could say anything, his eyes rolled back, and he fell to the ground. You're courting death. How dare you destroy my clone? Chapter 677. Heavily injuring Situ, Zheng Chapter 677. Crippling Situ Zheng. Black nefarious monster, you've lost a clone. Your strength has dropped by at least 30%. Hearing old monster black demons roar, the Black Widow sneered. I want to see how you will kill Ningyu. You, black nefarious monster, clenched his fists. Even his voice was trembling. Black Widow was right. Ningyu had destroyed one of his clones, causing his strength to drop by 30% to 40%. At his peak, he could still fight Black Widow. If he went all out, he could even injure Black Widow. Now that he had lost 30% to 40% of his strength, it would be difficult for him to fight Black Widow head-on. However, it would not be that easy for Black Widow to kill him. Black Widow, I won't lower myself to your level today. We'll meet again someday. Situ Zheng, hurry up and leave. Black nefarious monster knew when to yield. He knew that he would not be able to gain anything from staying, so he chose to leave immediately. Where there's life, there's hope. Old monster Black nefarious understood this very well. But old monster Black evil understood everything. But Situ Zheng was different from him. Situ Lei's corpse was still there, so Situ Zheng naturally wanted to leave with Situ Lei. No buts. If you don't want to leave, I won't force you. Black nefarious monster could not be bothered with Situ Zheng. He tore open the void and disappeared in the blink of an eye. You want to leave? Stay here. Seeing that black nefarious monster was about to leave, Black Widow yelled and grabbed at the void with both hands. Instantly, a crack appeared in front of her. In the next moment, Black Widow entered the void and disappeared just like black nefarious monster. Ha ha ha. Situ Zheng raised his head and laughed maniacally when Black Widow disappeared. His expression was very annoying. Ningyu, now that Black Widow is gone, let's see what you can do to me. After laughing, Situ Zheng changed the topic and said sinisterly, my strength will recover to the half-step manifestation realm in 20 seconds. By then, noisy! Since he only had 20 seconds, Ningyu did not want to waste it. Furthermore, now that the Dark Emperor was severely injured, only he and the Red Devil were left with the ability to fight. Of course, Lung Mian and Evil Eye's strength was limited and they couldn't help much. You're calling me noisy? You'll be crying later. Situ Zheng growled. Instead of retreating, he chose to attack head-on. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lung Mian and Evil Eye received Ningyu's order and attacked Situ Zheng from the left and right respectively when they saw Situ Zheng attacking. Bang! However, Lung Mian was at the late stage of the Yin-Yang realm, while Xie Yin was only at the mid-stage of the Yin-Yang realm. The two of them could not even block Situ Zheng for a second before their eyes rolled back and they fainted. Ningyu, how many transcendent grade origin crystals do you have on you now? Just as Situ Zheng was about to reach Ningyu, the Red Devil's voice quietly rang in Ningyu's mind. Hearing that, Ningyu was stunned at first, but he quickly said, 1,000,000 transcendent grade origin crystals. Let's go all out. Let's work together to block Situ Zheng for 20 seconds, and by time for the Red Devil sword to devour the transcendent grade origin crystals. The Red Devil growled. What? Ningyu was stunned. He was confused. Whoosh! However, Situ Zheng had already arrived in front of him. Ning, you could only stop thinking and fight against Situ Zheng together with the Hong Fiend who had revealed his true form. Buzz! While Ningyu and the Red Devil were working together to fight Situ Zheng, the Red Devil's sword turned into a shadow and entered the storage ring. The Red Devil's sword seemed to know what to do. As soon as it entered the storage ring, it devoured the transcendent grade origin crystals at an astonishing speed. At this speed, Ningyu's 1,000,000 transcendent grade origin crystals would be completely devoured in less than 20 seconds. If you're at your peak, you might be able to injure me while I'm weak. There were still 20 seconds left before he could recover to his peak state. Situ Zheng's confidence was instantly boosted as he said coldly, but in your current condition, you can't even touch my body. What makes you think you can kill me? By the way, that purple gold sky devouring hound over there is half dead now. It'll be a piece of cake for me to kill him. However, don't worry. I'll only kill you 2 pieces of trash. As for that purple gold sky devouring hound, I'll bring him to Dafu Royal City and study him. Are you done? Ningyu and the Red Devil's mission was to block Situ Zheng for 20 seconds. Now that Situ Zheng did not attack, Ningyu would not foolishly attack. That was because every second that he stalled Situ Zheng, Ningyu could use the 5th level of the spirit conversion technique to absorb a large amount of origin chi. Although he could not recover to his peak in 20 seconds, he could recover quite a bit. I'm done. Of course I'm done. Situ Zheng smiled evilly. This day next year will be the day you 2 die. 5 seconds left. At this moment, Ningyu crossed his arms in front of his chest and stared at Situ Zheng with interest. 5 for, what, 5 seconds? What the hell are you doing? Situ Zheng shouted in a low voice. 3, 2. Ningyu ignored Situ Zheng's scolding and continued to count, acting all mysterious. Situ Zheng's eyes turned cold as he stomped the ground and charged toward Ningyu. 1. Situ Zheng had just taken a few steps when Ningyu said the word 1. Boom! As Ningyu said the word 1, a blood-red ray of light suddenly shot out from the storage ring. Chi! The blood-red ray of light was so fast that it even made a sizzling sound when it touched the air. Ha ha ha! I thought you guys were up to something. So, you're planning to kill me with this king-grade flying sword? Situ Zheng laughed as he looked at the blood-red flying sword that was approaching him. To tell you the truth, I've already recovered to my peak. My strength is no longer at the peak of yin-yang stage. I'm at the half-step manifestation stage. Whoosh! Subsequently, an extremely powerful aura erupted from Situ Zheng's body. The fluctuation of this aura was extremely violent, and it even caused Ningyu to be stunned for a moment. Situ Zheng seized the opportunity and charged at Ningyu like a cheetah while Ningyu was stunned. However, Situ Zheng had obviously underestimated the power of the red demon sword. Before he reached Ningyu, he realized that the blood-red flying sword that had just charged out had suddenly appeared next to him. Swoosh! The blood-red flying sword was very fast, and a blue flame appeared on the tip of the sword. Stop pretending. Break it. Situ Zheng immediately gave up on attacking Ningyu when he saw the blood-red flying sword appear next to him. His hands quickly reached out to grab the flying sword. However, Situ Zheng's decision would make him regret it for the rest of his life. After letting out a hysterical scream, Situ Zheng quickly swung his hands in an attempt to throw the red demon sword out of his hands. Humph! The red demon sword has devoured 1,000,000 supreme crystals. How can you possibly throw it away? Chapter 678. Another crisis. Hong Mo, tell me the truth. The Red Devil Sword just devoured 1,000,000 extreme-grade origin crystals, and now it has devoured another 1,000,000 extreme-grade origin crystals. How far away is it from advancing into the monarch rank? Ningyu knew the might of the Red Demon Sword. Situ Zheng had been sucked in by the Red Demon Sword, which was at the peak of the king stage. He had basically lost the possibility of escaping. What Ningyu was concerned about now was how long it would take for the Red Demon Sword to advance to the monarch rank. Once the Red Demon Sword advanced to the emperor level, Ningyu and the others would be able to contend against martial artists who were half a step into the manifestation realm. At the very least, he wouldn't be killed. It's impossible for me to advance to the monarch rank in a short period of time. The Red Fiend's answer disappointed Ningyu. 2,000,000 transcendent grade essence crystals is just a drop in the ocean. However, after the Red Fiend devoured so many transcendent grade essence crystals, I discovered an important piece of information. The Red Fiend said solemnly, What important news? Ningyu was puzzled. It's very simple. If I want to advance the Red Devil Sword to the Monarch rank, then extreme grade origin crystals aren't sufficient anymore. Emo took a deep breath and said, King grade. Royal grade origin crystals are needed to advance the Red Demon Sword to the Monarch rank. How many King grade origin crystals do you need? Ningyu asked. I'm not too sure about the specifics, but according to my estimation, it will require at least a few million King grade origin crystals, Emo said after thinking for a while. Ningyu was speechless. Several million royal grade essence crystals. This was 2F* King much, right? He only won a few million pieces of transcendent grade essence crystals after going through untold hardships. Where would he go to get a few million pieces of King grade essence crystals? Pucci, just as Ningyu was having a headache over the royal grade essence crystals, the sound of blood spurting out rang out. Ningyu and the Red Fiend hurriedly turned their heads. Nearby, Sidu Zhang's eyes dimmed as he spat out a mouthful of blood. After spitting out blood, Sidu Zhang stretched out his right hand and held tightly onto the blood-red flying sword that was stabbed into his heart. Sidu Zhang tried to pull the blood-red flying sword out with all his might. However, he only managed to exert a little bit of strength before his body fell backward. Puff! After Situ Zhang collapsed, the Red Devil Sword exerted force again. It pierced through Situ Zhang's heart and emerged from the other side of the ground. This feels so F** King good. Seeing that Sidu Zhang had died on the ground, the Dark Emperor dragged his heavy body over and said in a clear voice, I didn't expect that even a half-step to manifestation stage martial artist would die in our hands. Just thinking about it is really exciting. The Dark Emperor vaguely remembered that when he first met Ningyu, he was bullied by an Origin Core Realm cultivator from the Corpse sect. In less than a year, who could have imagined that they had already grown to the point where they could kill martial artists who were half a step into the manifestation realm? Dark Emperor, don't be careless. Hurry up and rest. Ningyu was not overwhelmed by the joy of victory. He was very calm. After his soul force reached the 6th grade and his cultivation advanced to the Yin-Yang realm, Ningyu discovered that his perception had increased a lot. When he was fighting with Sidu Zhang, he didn't have time to observe his surroundings. Now that Situ Zhang was dead, he had enough time to observe his surroundings. This glance caused Ningyu to break out in a cold sweat. Ningyu discovered that there were 3 powerful auras not far away from the courtyard. 2 of the auras were relatively weak, but they had also reached the peak of the Yin-Yang realm. As for the other aura, it made Ningyu very worried. This was because that aura was comparable to Situ Zhang at his peak. It's fine. We've already killed these 2 fellows. We're safe now. The Dark Emperor pointed at the dead Situ Lei and Situ Zhang and said with a smile, the most important thing at this time is not to rest, but to obtain all the treasures on their bodies. There are experts around. The Red Devil did not lose his mind. He said in a deep voice, if you want to die, you can get your hands on their treasures. We won't stop you. After saying that, the Red Devil sat on the ground and began to recover with all his might. As for Ningyu, he began to circulate the spirit transformation art like the Red Devil to replenish his Yuan Qi. What's the big deal? It's just F***CK. Hearing Ningyu and the Red Devil's words, the Dark Emperor curled his lips, as if he didn't believe them. However, even though he didn't believe them, the Dark Emperor still spread out his perception to survey his surroundings. Very quickly, the Dark Emperor cursed, because he had discovered 3 powerful auras outside the courtyard. 1 was at the half-step manifestation realm, and the other 2 were at the peak of the Yin-Yang realm. After cursing in his heart, the Dark Emperor immediately sat down cross-legged and began to absorb the surrounding Yuan Qi. The Dark Emperor knew very well that the 3 of them were not at their peak state. If another 2-peak Yin-Yang realm and a half-step manifestation realm cultivator appeared at this time, they would only be able to survive. It would be better if the Black Widow was here, but since the Black Widow wasn't here, they could only hope for the best. Swish! While Ningyu and the others were recovering with all their might, a few martial artists were conversing in the air outside the courtyard. Patriarch Zhao! Why hasn't Sidu Zhang and the others come out after so long? Dan Chenzi frowned slightly and asked doubtfully. That's right. Logically speaking, as long as they meet the Black Widow at this time, they would definitely flee immediately. Peng Zhou was also confused. Zhao Mu pondered for a moment, then said, the situation might have changed. What changes can there be? Dan Chenzi and Peng Zhou asked in unison. It's very simple. Since they haven't come out after so long, there's only one possibility. Zhao Mu said in a deep voice, that old monster Black Evil is also inside. Patriarch Zhao, didn't you say that you saw old monster Black Evil leave the capital with your own eyes? Peng Zhou said, Humph, I did indeed see old monster Black Evil leave the capital with my own eyes, but with old monster Black Evil's strength, it would be easy for him to return without anyone noticing. Zhao Mu said coldly, the two of you go scout first and see what's going on inside. You want us to scout? That's not good, right? Peng Zhou and Dan Chenzi were not fools. They knew that scouting at this time was no different from courting death. It's fine if you don't go. Zhao Mu did not force them. Instead, he said indifferently, if Ningyu is captured by Situ Zhang and the others, you should know the consequences. That's right, the spirit wood is still with them. Hearing Zhao Mu's words, Dan Chenzi and Peng Zhou's faces turned gloomy. They were both alchemists, and they were both early-stage 8th grade alchemists. Something as precious as the spirit would be able to unleash its greatest power in their hands. It could be said that with soul force, the two of them could even refine middle-stage 8th grade medicinal pills. Let's do it. Looking at each other, Dan Chenzi and Peng Zhou shouted, then quietly disappeared from Zhao Mu's side. Looking at Dan Chenzi and Peng Zhou, who disappeared, the corner of Zhao Mu's mouth curled up. Defu Royal City should be under strong attack. At this time, we must not let Sidu Zhang and Situ Lei leave the capital. As long as we can delay them for 3 to 4 days, Defu Royal City will become a subsidiary city of World King City. After integrating the resources of Defu Royal City and World King City, I might even have the chance to break through to Creation Realm. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.